Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Midnight Festival podcast, where a great group of guys talk about video games in great detail. I'm Lieutenant Jade, the first commander of the podcast.
I'm Corporal Koitsu, the second of three hosts.
I'm Corporal Cole. I'm the third of three hosts tonight.
Tonight, we're talking about Valkyria Chronicles 4. It's the winner of our very first debate episode. It's a monumental moment here on the Midnight Festival podcast. Corporal Cole, I don't know if I want to start that precedent where we...
Yeah, I'm not going to remember. I'm not going to remember rank and file.
Cole, you chose this game. Why don't you go ahead and introduce it to our listeners here?
All right. Well, Valkyria Chronicles 4. If you listen to the debate episode, you might remember I compared it mostly just to Valkyria Chronicles 1, and I didn't really explain much beyond that because it is sort of a unique kind of game to wrap your mind around. First and foremost, because it is a turn-based sort of tactics RPG, but not in the way that you'd think, like a Fire Emblem or something. You go into this tactical mode, this map view, and you have a layout of all of the units you have sight on, and you deploy all your guys. But then you choose one of your squad members to make a move with, and then you're in a third-person shooter mode. And you will take all this interception fire from the enemies as you move around. You have to manage your movement. And then when you want to line up a shot, you get one shot per move. You have like infinite time to line up the shot. It's really strange, and it's something that you kind of have to see for yourself to wrap your mind around. But it's very entertaining. The story is... What can I say about the story? It's anime World War II. You follow just a squad of guys and gals around as they gallivant across the countryside, trying to stop the bad guys.
Yeah,
trying to save World War II.
I'd even
trying to save World War II.
Trying to save World War II. I'd even go one step further and say that it's anime Band of Brothers.
Yeah, you could easily say that.
Easily say that.
You could easily say that.
Yeah, they literally even called them...
That's the podcast. That's we could wrap it up there. I think that's like the perfect summation.
Yeah, you can wrap your mind around that. There you go. That's Valkyria Chronicles. Thanks for listening.
That's pretty much exactly what it is. You just go through the game. You just learn a little bit about each of the characters. Stuff happens. World War II happens. Anime World War II rages on, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, anime World War II rages on in the background. And you just get to watch these guys, touch butts and look up girls' skirts and just have like a fun time. Like just have a fun time in World War II. Just like real World War II.
Yeah, exactly. And
it was a fun time. You're right.
And I gotta say, kind of spoiler alert maybe, but this war wasn't too bad. The casualties, this was only like 10 million casualties, I think they said. That makes this war only about a 30th as lethal as real World War II was. So this wasn't a very bad war. This was a pretty good time for everyone.
Compared to real life.
We could get into, spoilers ahead. I'm not going to spoil anything either, but you can look directly and be like, how many characters did you meet that died? Like, of your guys. And the number is very small. So they kind of lucked out. Lucked out.
Yeah, all of the members of Squad E are incredibly fortunate. They seem to just make it by nearly every mission unscathed in this unprecedented war, as they would have put it.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, and at one point I had to ask you guys and look into some extra details about whether or not there were more unwritten characters from your squad, Easy Company, that were actually getting killed off, unnamed kind of grunt characters apparently. But apparently the consensus is that your squad is bigger than just the characters that you're able to play and are represented really.
I get that impression, yes.
Yeah.
Because
but none of
I think they probably say at some point that we're taking big losses, but you're named and voiced and faced squad members are totally okay.
Yeah, it's
All
so
your sexy
disjointed.
anime men and women they're safe.
Oh, yeah, there are like faceless grunt goon soldiers in earlier scenes. I remember that have the easy insignia on their gear. So
Even a lot of like the commanders are faceless. It's just like a commander or like some high up dude, but then he's just like barely been like rendered.
I got a qualm with that. That makes me mad, actually, big time. Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad that changed a little bit, like later in the game when you meet some other characters. But when you're initially on the field, like all the generals and stuff that you're taking orders from are just these faceless, like looking. They have the worst rendering, and they look like the worst, shittiest characters. And I'm thinking like, does every cute anime boy that they have like around, is that what they aged to look like? Like, what did this guy look like in his prime? Like, did he look like Claude Wallace?
yeah, they put them front and center too, and they don't put any effort into hiding the fact that these guys, they do not care about what these guys look like.
Yeah, it's funny.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, we should just dive right into the gameplay first and foremost. Like, there's nothing. No other game series. That's kind of why I wanted to play this game, is because there's no other series that has any sort of gameplay similar to this. Like, it's really, really super unique.
Yeah, like the closest thing I can kind of put it next to is maybe like XCOM. It's got somewhat elements of XCOM where, it's a kind of tactical, top-down, grid-based, battle game. But yeah, instead of fighting aliens, you're fighting anime stormtrooper Nazis.
But there's no grid. There's no grid. Also,
there's no grid. Your movement is so much more free.
Yeah, it's actually like a really nice. I thought that it was one of my favorite parts was like sort of the map animation that they have, like the little sketches of like bushes and stuff will be like animated and moving around, and like certain things could happen, like a lightning bolt will strike a tree, and then now there will just be like a little addition to the map, and then that map is dynamic and it changes when like stuff happens in the game, like to the battlefield.
Yeah,
it's like an actual bird's eye view of the real battlefield, but with all these filters.
Drawn up in like that.
Make it look like just a straight up sketch.
Yeah, like a military strategy sketch.
Yeah, and they're moving their little pieces. Like, everyone looks like a little token, and they're moving them around, and like, yeah, it's cool. Like the art style of the game
just the
is
art
really
style.
unique too. Like, there's nothing else that looks like that too, where it's like it looks like a watercolor painting with this cool like crosshatch shading on all the characters. Like, it's really really
looks
cool.
So good. I'm blown away by how good this game looks, and VC1 was that way too, and it holds up in its own kind of way, even over a decade later. But VC4, just the graphical fidelity it's surprising how much they managed to increase it.
Yeah, like, it's crazy how much an art style can carry a game, like, or at least make it stand the test of time, where it's just like, oh, this still looks good after all this time.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, this game came out when again?
2019, I think, right?
2019. That's what I was thinking.
2018, 2019, I forget exactly.
2018,
it's
2019.
fairly new.
Tomato.
Yeah,
but
true.
Valkyria Chronicles 1, that came out
in
like
2008.
on PlayStation 3.
Yeah, it's literally over 10 years old.
The resolution's kind of bad. It doesn't look very sharp, but still the style of the graphics is still just really unique and cool.
And when you're choosing missions, it has a charm to it. All your missions and everything are in this book that you're flipping the pages on. It's even better in Valkyria Chronicles 4 because every image for the scenes and stuff looks like a tiny little painting that they did, or a brush stroke that they did.
Yeah, there's all these little details like
squares.
There's all these little details like some World War II trinket, like a trench spike or something next to the book, like you just got done stabbing through someone's helmet. All those like quaint little things about war that you just love.
Sketching in between battles, like sketching like there's little sketches in the margins of the notebook and everything. It's there's a lot of cool touches that I really appreciate.
You want to know something interesting
Yeah.
about VC4? The composer,
Yeah.
Hitoshi Sakimoto. If that doesn't ring a bell, he did Tactics Ogre, Vagrant Story, Final Fantasy
Okay.
12, Muramasa the Demon Blade,
Ooh,
a few others.
damn.
He's
This guy's been around.
prolific. Yeah, he did the first Valkyria Chronicles game as well. It's you can kind of tell jumping into this game if you've played the first Valkyria. They reused a lot of. I don't think the music is one to one, but they redid a lot of the motifs and sound effects and stuff, and it's got its own charm to it there as well.
Yeah, I liked some of the songs got pretty repetitive.
Yeah,
Like,
there's not a lot.
there's not a lot of variety, or like there's a decent amount of variety, I guess, between the songs, but they're used very, very often. It's
Yeah,
kind of,
especially in the
unfortunate.
cut scenes, I think, for character moments when they'll go back and forth and use the exact same.
like 2 songs.
Yeah, 2 songs, like, because the situation just keeps changing from like upbeat to like downtrodden, and they only have the same exact musical score for these moments.
Yeah.
A little unfortunate.
And I fucking hate the R&D songs so much. I hate the R&D songs so much.
Man. Yeah,
It's
the
like
sound.
dissonant. Ugh,
Yeah,
gross.
I think you guys hit the nail on the head about the soundtrack. Even though there was like a bunch of pretty good numbers, they were just so repetitive for like and just reused all the time per event, and like pretty solid boundaries of when those songs are going to be playing, so you'll always know when to expect them to. So
A little formulaic.
Yeah, I remember like really being into the like later in the game when they're battling more of like the elements, because they get trapped in winter. And
yeah.
I was like, this is cool when they're like kind of having to survive and like keep marching and stuff without winter clothes or whatever. But then it kept playing the same like like violin song over and over again, and I was like, okay, dude, okay, come on, get some more tense, like depressing music. It just kept taking me out.
Speaking of recycling assets, how about their animation software, their character animation software?
Oh boy,
Yeah, a lot of it was pretty similar, but I thought the animation was significantly smoother this time around compared to the first game, which should be a given,
that's
honestly.
very true. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ragdoll is always going to be funny. It's always going to just be the funniest thing of all time. Like when enemies just clump, they just collapse in like a heap.
Yeah,
It's the best.
You get shot by a rifle bullet and your character hops into the air and ragdolls
like literally like a limp puppet just kind of collapsing.
Yeah, it's good. I really like shooting enemies like off of a building or something, or off of a tower, and then their body goes down, and then their just body like reappears back up there because it's like you killed a leader or whatever, and it has to show the CP breaking. So like their body flies off the tower and then it just appears back there and like does this slow zoom to their body, and it's just so funny. There's just some funny touches like that I don't think they even meant to do, but it's just like the silliest stuff.
Almost reminds me of like some like Doug Pound or Tim and Eric edit.
Yeah.
Kind of just the silliness of how just the way they look when they fly off these buildings after an explosion or a
off the
snipe.
ledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
But how about the communication screens when you're like your characters are talking to each other, like the dialogue with the all fully voice acted and everything, which is great too. But just I kind of was perturbed by how frequently they reused those animations. Like all the characters were just like kind of going through the same motions. Like they probably had some animation engine with like 5 different gestures for like angry, or and then like 5 different gestures for concerned or thinking, and then just copy and paste every single character skeleton onto that.
Yeah,
and then
that really
everyone
sucks.
uses the same gestures, whether it's Forseti, whether it's
Vaults.
Claude, vaults. Yep.
Yeah, It's really, yeah, that is really strange because everyone does that. Everyone does that arm, the same arm.
Yeah,
Like,
the arm swing in front of their face.
yeah, and everyone does like the same thinking thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really
even Chimera is like bound to the same emotions that everyone else is, but she only does like a couple, like sullen. Like she always does like sullen, look down,
Yeah.
look back up.
It extends to the models as well. It's something that has always kind of bugged me, and I'm sad to see it wasn't that's something they didn't decide to update with Valkyria Chronicles 4 is that there's only like one default male like body and one default female body for every class, and then like that's it. And then the story characters can get their own unique stuff, but then otherwise everybody has the same animations. They look the same walking around on the battlefield. There's not a lot of personality in their models. It's really cut and paste there.
they're all the same height. They're all the same width and body type.
Yeah,
basically.
that stuff.
Like Nico, 16-year-old tiny little girl, has the tiniest little head, but her body is just like normal
it looks
size.
the exact same as any other scout.
Yeah,
Any
that
other
is pretty
female scout.
unfortunate.
Gosh, yeah, just I never noticed that. I never used Nico. I didn't use any child soldiers. I pretty much kept the same dream team the whole game, and
Yeah.
it just didn't change. Well, I guess there was one very important addition from the very original squad. I guess there were a couple noteworthy mentions, including a lot of
Nico.
some of those DLC characters. Like, I really did like how they let you use like Alicia and Welkin from the first game if you complete their, private or what
Little
is
side
it
mission.
again? Yeah, it was a side mission, just
An extra story. It's like that the downloadable content that I think in the game now just kind of is the gaudy, the complete edition. You just get all that, right? That was your guys' experience when you bought it.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of the base game now.
Wow,
Hell yeah.
it's really dope.
Yeah,
but-
I liked. It was cool seeing those guys. The mission was like, I don't know. It's just DLC.
Yeah,
Super
exactly.
fan servicey, like
Yeah,
totally
just
that
fan
would never
service.
happen.
For sure. But I mean, it was welcome. Like it was Welkin, so like it was cool.
Welcome. Glad to have you
Well,
back.
Although Welkin, they changed his voice actor, so it wasn't him. It wasn't Welkin.
Yeah, something seemed
think
off
so.
about him. I didn't realize it was the voice actor.
I think
who was
Alicia is the only one who retained a voice actress or
Yeah.
actor. She's the best one too. So
Yeah, Alicia was so
kind of all
good.
that matters.
Yeah, she was cool.
She had a mysterious body. Just
Yeah.
randomly will heal to full health.
She
I
does
never-
have a mysterious body.
I didn't
Yeah, I wonder
get.
what that's all
I
about.
did not get far enough in the first game to find out what her mysterious body's mystery was.
Do not go back and watch the opening cutscene. It will spoil you.
Really, for VC1.
The what do they call that? Like the little teaser that the game will play
Oh
when you
yeah,
first launch it.
yeah, like a Pokemon opening screen or something.
Yeah, Pokemon
Yeah.
has definitely used them.
The OP.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The OP of
yeah, that might give you a little
it's-
hint.
It's pretty mysterious.
I better
There's
look.
a mystery behind it.
I better refresh myself on that at some point. Do an update.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be hard to go back to that game because everything. I mean, it didn't change anything really. Valkyria Chronicles 4 didn't really change a lot of the gameplay stuff from VC1,
There's a few
but
interesting things.
there are some really good like additions for sure. But it's like the gameplay systems and everything are like the same, and it really, like, if you look at them side by side, it looks basically like the exact same game.
Yeah.
Because it plays the exact same, but there's a lot of good things they do to spice it up, and I think that's a good step. But it still kind of feels like Valkyria Chronicles like 1.5.
I thought this game had way more depth than Valkyria
Yeah.
Chronicles 1. Like way
It-
more.
I mean, the fact that for one thing, the mission objectives. There was a lot more variety of like missions and stuff in this game. I think it was like one of the first chapters in the game. I think it was like 3 or 4 or something, when you have to sneak into that town and like find all the tanks.
Oh
And
yeah.
then like find the real tanks and then like shoot the light tower or the tower the numbers or whatever on the tower,
the little boards or whatever they
like
were.
yeah, that mission alone has like more variety than like all of the first game.
Yeah, honestly,
Every mission.
I'm glad you mentioned that tank mission because that was like I really was engaged at that point in the game, I think, and everything that was going on, and like just yeah, that mission really stood out because it was so stressful. Like I was just like for the first time in the game, I was actually stressed out about what was like, you know, what was around the corner. I just couldn't send my guys like all willy-nilly into the enemy lines and just have them run and gun as they go, pretty much. Had to be strategic about it, and yeah, it was cool.
I loved, like when you're just a shitty scout running through the back alleys and then you come face to face with a heavy tank. You shouldn't like even see those that early in the game, and you're just like,
Yeah,
Oh
get
my
shot
God.
to shit right then and there.
it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the first game was primarily just, I don't know how many missions there were to just defeat all the enemies on the map or something, but it was mostly just get to the enemy base camp and capture it.
Mm-hmm.
So the first game was kind of like you could do every mission sort of the same, and the scouts were objectively the
Scouts
best.
were king.
Scouts were the
Yeah.
best, and Alicia was a scout, and with her mysterious body, she was by far the best.
Yeah.
I always
sure.
remember that.
Some things never change.
Yeah.
Some things in war
Well,
never change.
She lost her throne in Valkyria 4, but
Really? To a better scout? Really? Who could have taken her position?
there's a couple.
A
I don't know if I
couple?
want to get into that just yet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at least in my eyes. At least in my eyes, there are some.
Yeah,
I know
there's
of one.
definitely
I know
some
of one that you guys might be talking about.
I can think
but-
of like 4
wow.
right off the top of my head. Alicia, she lost a lot of her stopping power in this game. In the first game, she had an insane ability that gave her big boosts to all her stats. I remember she always had something when she touched her feet to dirt. And I think
yeah.
they changed her potentials a bit in this one. You know, she's just kind of a fun DLC character with a mysterious body in VC4. Definitely not what I would call the best.
Yeah.
I really gotta say I really love the addition of Grenadiers in this game. Like
Oh,
Grenadiers
yeah.
were probably my favorite unit.
Why?
I love
It,
them.
it's so crazy. Yeah, Grenadiers are so strong, and it blows my mind that they, of all of the classes, pretty much have the best reaction shots. They can like
Mine,
they can
mine
hit
fucking
things like
sucked.
really yours weren't doing it.
My reaction shots on Grenadier. I have a note here. I was complaining. It seemed like the enemy Empire Grenadiers had like 3 or 4 times as much accuracy with their interception on their grenades compared to my guys never hit.
Oh,
Yeah, I only really had luck with hitting tanks because the pathing for tanks is like just fucked up. And so if you like enemy tanks are always like starting and stopping and changing direction and like just moving really erratically.
Yeah.
So then Grenadiers are like, bop, there goes all your AP. Now you can't move anymore. Like it was nice, but I could never ever hit soldiers.
That's how
But
it was for me too.
Enemy Grenadiers pissed me off because they like right when you start your turn, they're if they're within range, they're already firing a thing. So like if anybody's just around you and then a Grenadier moved in range, like you're fucked. And I didn't like that.
that is
That
one.
didn't feel
That is definitely one major advantage that enemy Grenadiers have over the player, which is just they get the drop on you. They literally
I kept
already like if you're just gonna snipe, like if you start your turn and you just want to snipe in that spot, then by the time you pull the trigger to do your attack, then there's already a grenade literally flying at you that might just knock you off your feet, and you would have to try to aim again. And there's already a reloaded grenade socketed into the enemy, like more.
Getting hit while aiming sucked the worst.
Oh my gosh!
I remember specifically in like the last couple missions when the ground is really flat, you could see like across the whole stage I remember specifically going into a sniper like I gotta kill this grenadier. Right when I started, I was mashing the aim button like as the camera was zooming in to like, okay, you're taking over Mabel, and then I was like mashing my aim button. Yeah, by the time I even got into the aim, like into the scope of my gun, there was a grenade already smashing into my head and killing everybody around me.
Oh my
So it was
gosh.
like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm not fast enough. You just can't be. You can't win against the enemy grenadiers.
You can't win against a perfect enemy.
Grenadiers were a great addition because it really just totally restructured how you have to think about all of the encounters in the game, both just how you can advance your grenadiers and then the enemy, because you can't just run scouts through stuff anymore
Yeah.
because of the threat of grenadiers always looming, and they don't need sight on you, they just need anyone on their team to have sight on you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's
That
cool.
is true. Yeah, they get like omniscience. Just anyone can tell them where they are, and that's why their reaction shots were so good. And like for me, I just remember specifically one mission. I think it was the second time that you were introduced to Walt, where I just set Riley up in an area, and he just took a really long time like rounding the corners, and Riley just got so many shots, like pretty much straight into his radiator. Like, yeah, he was already at half health, and then he just got within Riley's range and just went around a corner really slow and died. So
Hell yeah.
that made me really have an appreciation for Grenadiers.
Yeah, I love them.
I'm sad that Grenadiers I wish they had existed from the start, because Valkyria Chronicles has these things called Lancers, and they just feel useless, even more so in 4 than they ever did
Yeah.
in the first game, because Grenadiers just do their job for them now.
Yeah, that's true. Like I don't know what Lancers are for in this game, really. Like everything that you can do with a Grenadier, you can do with a Lancer, or anything that you can do with a Lancer, you can do with a Grenadier.
Yeah, that's true. I was definitely learning that by the end of the game, and definitely trying to rely on them less. But I guess, to an extent, I always relied on Lancers up to the very end, and that got me into a lot of trouble. I just thought that Lancers being like so tanky, I was trying to use them to like take a lot of the fire from missions too, by putting them as like the primary target of people's attacks. Hopefully that was my thought, at least. But and then have them also be my demolitions crew. And I was even specking into like the anti-personnel Lancer that basically
mortars.
turns them into a mortar. Yeah, like a portable mortar, and then you can just like go and clear out a whole camp like it's nothing
those are
with
pretty
one of those
insane.
guys. So
cool.
I was having some luck with the Lancers, and they were what helped me destroy even the final boss. But they also got me into trouble on that mission as well, because
Yeah.
definitely not as efficient as a Grenadier for that fight.
That's all I think I used a Lancer a handful of times, and I think it was to just stand on my like home base so it couldn't get captured. Like that was what they did. They just stood there. I think my upgrade tree, I think I upgraded to the point where it like starts to branch for their weapons, and I
Oh my
didn't buy any more
God.
upgrades. I just stopped. I was
So
like,
early.
no point. No point.
No Laurent for you. No Laurent
I tried
action.
to deploy one of every unit type per mission, because you wouldn't know what to expect.
Yep.
Too
Yep.
much going in. So I'd always have a Lancer, and I try to use them.
Yeah, but you have to try to use them.
Yeah, you have to
That's
try
the
to use them.
problem.
They're so slow. They have the least amount of movement in the game. All they have is that they're tanky, and if you stack Lancers, and you could do those, having units next to each other, they can shoot together. But they're so fucking inaccurate too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why anti-tank grenades are super accurate, but then anti-personnel are inaccurate, when I feel like it should be the other way around.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's true.
But it is
I
what
use
it is.
the middle category, just the I can't remember what the middle tree was
Just
called,
the
but
balanced one.
the balanced shot
Standard.
for that. Yeah, but what I would do with my Lancers is I would just run them. I remember specifically it was one mission, they had like 3 tanks in a row, and I just ran like, and it was right next to Laurent, and he only spawns with 3 shots. He just ran straight through all of them, tanking the shots from these tanks as he just ran through them one by one, and just at the end of each turn would just turn and shoot and destroy a tank, a whole tank.
Hell yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
they had a lot of defense. You could totally just walk through some machine gun fire, lots of parts of the game, and they just could shrug it off.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, and the resistance to explosives is pretty good too. But that's
but just shoot a grenade from a mile away.
just shoot a fucking grenade. You don't even need to resist explosives because the person lobbing explosives will be dead with your Grenadiers.
So true.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
a little fucked.
I love Grenadiers, but yeah, they really make the Lancers obsolete. There's no reason to really use them.
But
And it was
that's-
like so funny because the game later in the game would like they would be setting up strategies for you to use. Like it makes it way more complicated to use a Lancer to destroy some of the
I
like
had
end
that
game
experience using Lancers, trying to use Lancers, and then obviously in retrospect, Grenadiers would have been way cleaner, way safer,
Yeah.
way more efficient.
Yeah, it was just it's just funny. The game is like, you guys, we have to get up to the second floor of this burned out building to shoot down into this guy's radiator, and then it's like, oh, but Grenadiers can just launch.
Oh my
You-
fucking god!
You know,
yeah.
like what? Or the last guy when it was like, oh, you have to set up the ladders to get up on top of him and then shoot into like, nope, just grenade him from just mortar. him
I
from far away.
actually did that. I
actually
actually
did
did the
that.
ladders.
You guys are insane.
The game,
guys are crazy.
you do it's as intended. Why would they set all this shit up for you to go do it? And it's like, why not? And
It's
Smooth brain.
that mission took me up to my like 19th turn.
Oh my god, dude! If
that's
you would have
insane.
failed like after 20 turns,
Oh
that would
my
have been
god.
so.
I was
That-
so stressed. I was so close because I knew I had like one turn to take out. Without spoiling too much, there was like that
yeah,
frontal
talk about
node.
that whole mission.
Yeah.
There's no better example of why Lancers are fucked than that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the worst experience. And then another bad example, I was successful using Lancers on the submarine against
Yeah,
those
yeah.
harpoon guns.
Right,
But
yeah.
in retrospect, that really sucked. I would have to have like Minerva grab like 2 Lancers, bring them on board after it's submerged, and then like chauffeur at least one of them to like a destination so that they could actually shoot those harpoon guns. And then the other one would have to take just so many turns of
Yeah.
exhaustion to just get to the other ones. But I like kind of cheesed that mission with Lancers, I guess.
Yeah, that one.
It
That was
that's
interesting.
that submarine only made it to the second point for me. It just didn't go any further than that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I wish I would have just grenaded them though. The amount of
Oh my god!
stuff
yeah,
I
if
had to redo because my Lancers sucked.
Yeah, with Minerva, I could have just dropped 2 Grenadiers right into the middle of it, and they could have just taken out everything.
And they wouldn't even have to run up onto it.
no. and
Yeah,
then
or you just get down onto the deck and like just fire from like that spot that you spawn in,
And
on
then
the
just
deck,
get off.
Yep, that's what I.
Wow.
That's what I did.
amazing.
Yep. Poor Lancers. If they never would have put them in the first game, they probably could just get rid of them. But now they're part of like an established kind of lore in this whole series. They've
They're
always
just
been
meant-
around.
Yeah, they
Lancers
make
are- yeah,
really
they're cool.
good enemies
Conceptually.
They make the really good enemies.
Yeah,
Because any Lancer,
Yeah.
it's like you're not as worried about like running past them or whatever because they don't have any like auto targeting attacks at
No
you.
interception fire.
No
yeah.
interception fire. Yeah, so you feel like kind of safer around them, but then they'll just turn around and shoot their anti-tank missile right at you.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
I
later
liked-
ones that get the mortars are actually scary.
yeah.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, Lancer, that's a cool thing to play around with because yeah, it's like in your mind you can run by them or like line up a shot or do whatever, but if you leave any of them alive, that's when it gets
It's
a little
pretty
risky.
much guaranteed death.
Yeah, they're high priority targets for sure, which is cool. And they're bullet sponges as well.
Oh
so.
my
Yeah, they're
gosh.
tanky
Maybe
as
it's a
fuck.
little more maybe they're balanced just to be an enemy.
Yeah,
should,
like, not a-
that's a good point. I can
Yeah.
appreciate them as Empire enemies, but they're just totally defunct for the Federation, for Gallia.
Yeah, they serve no purpose anymore in the age of crazy ice ships, crazy land
Yeah.
and ice ships,
Cruisers,
cruisers.
sea cruisers.
Yep.
You also have your tank. Your tank in this game only takes one command point to move instead of two, like in the first
Yeah,
game.
wow.
So that's like an ultimate lancer that you can just drive around and
Yeah. Once
With
again,
better range than a Lancer too.
better range, way
better range
tankier,
accuracy.
Literally a
Yeah.
tank.
more options because you always have a mortar and you always have an anti-tank and you also always have something to do interception fire
oh my
instead
gosh.
of what do you call it, Jade?
Huh?
A meat grinder.
Yeah, I call it a meat grinder. Yeah, set up a meat grinder. Yeah,
Oh yes, the meat grinder tactic is
and
the
you just know that
best.
your guys are going to be running, like the enemies are just going to be running like through your tank, so you just set it up in a way that just it'll mow them down.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
want to like leave a little bit of bait, like a weak little engineer or something out there
Yeah.
that enemies will try to run up and get. Tank sitting around the corner, guns them down as they run to her every time.
Yeah,
Every
I
time
loved- I
trying to
loved
run
it.
to get to Rita.
they go, they use all their CP to like run their guys in to die, and oftentimes use multiple points of their CP because they instantly stop their turn once they start taking fire. But then
Yeah.
the computer is like, no, I have to do this, and they command the same guy who just ended his turn, and then he runs in to die. It's like the funniest
That's
thing.
the true Imperial force.
Honestly, some enemies I could not kill at all. I just could not harm certain enemies
Yeah,
without the
how do you-
tank.
Without the tank. Elaborate.
Like what?
Like Nicola and Chocola.
Oh, because they keep
Chocola.
dodging your shit or what? Yeah, Chocola and Vanilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they would just dodge my stuff every time, and then enemies always had. It was that mission where those bombs were dropping in on your ship when it was
Yeah.
in that little crack,
Yeah.
and
Thinking about that is funny. Yeah.
yeah, what a cool strategy! That captain really is something, man. He's his quick thinking has kept his men alive through many battles.
Yeah.
Um,
I liked that mission. I liked
Yeah, it was a good mission.
I liked
I
shooting
mean-
the bombs out of the air and like the different that was cool.
I liked the mission, but I was getting like wiped. I had to probably save scum that level more than any other level. Because yeah, those twins, those little girls would just run up on me and they would wreak havoc. They would do horrible things to my whole base. They would just destroy everyone in my whole base, and there was like nothing I could do about it. People were like bunched together in cover, like all of my machine gunners, Raz, and like two other of my finest shock troopers sitting behind like sandbags, looking at these guys coming from across the field, and there's nothing we can do about it. They open up fire. They run through the bullets, immune to all damage.
Yeah, they don't
and-
take shit for damage from interception.
Nope.
Yeah. They
Sorry, hold on. There's a... Sorry, my cat.
meow meow meow. That's so cute. I love that.
My
I
cat
love that.
Peter went off. My automated
that
voice.
Yeah, keep that in.
I'm keeping that in.
Oh god.
Meow, meow,
Okay.
meow.
That'll be the debut. In fact, it's programmed to go off every time, that we would probably be
Every time
recording
you
this
record.
podcast. So,
That's right.
but yeah, so just those girls were just so indestructible. I would have to use my tank's interception fire to do anything to them. And they would just like kind of run around in areas. Like I would just have all of my guys over like clustered behind sandbags hiding. This is war tactics. I mean, anyone who's been through a war, you can probably, empathize with with my digital soldiers here. They're all
Digital soldiers.
Your anime soldiers, yeah,
they're all
they'll go.
just clustered.
Just like when I was serving in World War II myself.
Yeah, like don't you just
yeah, I
hate
remember
it
that.
when you and your squad mates are just clustered like 12 of you behind a single sandbag? Or no, not 12, I guess only 10 of you because that's the deployment limit. 10 of you are clustered behind a single sandbag and watching as two demonic girls run from across the map. Your sniper bullets just they're just bouncing off of these little tiny girls.
These lollies come running across, laughing
Maniacally.
completely maniacally laughing and giggling as they are wielding crossbows too, not even standard issue rifles.
It looks more like a trench spike launcher.
Yeah,
Almost,
that
right?
thing looks gnarly.
Like whatever the
Dunkles.
heck.
The Dunkle.
Dunkle? Is that
Yeah.
real?
Yeah,
what
that's
they
what it's
call
called.
Wow.
I don't know if it's real, but in the
The,
game, it's a dunkle.
I can't imagine that shit. And they love to headshot you a crit. Those girls can give orders to themselves, which isn't, you don't always see that. And they love to use the one where they can always get a headshot as long as they hit you. And that, yeah, they massacre. They kill.
Yeah,
Big time.
and they'll just run into my base, behind my base, and just flank me at my sandbags, and there's nothing I can do about it. And they can just bully me from my own base.
Yeah.
Only my finest tank operators are able to even persuade them to leave the area, to
Only
possibly
Miles.
to fall back just a little
Silver-tongued
bit.
Miles can defeat them.
Yeah,
Silver-tongued Miles can talk them out of it. They go, "Hey, leave us alone, please." Yeah, those girls. Oh boy, the bosses in the game. I gotta wonder sometimes how they're balanced. 'Cause
I
sometimes
hate-
they're pretty
Oh,
fucked.
what?
I hate bosses in these games.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
yeah,
Not
just
a fan.
very confusing sometimes. Like,
I like those two. I'll say right now I like those two. I don't really consider them bosses, but everyone else.
yeah,
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. Like, because you never really directly fight the two girls, like, a mission to kill them. Like, you never have a mission. They are literally just, like, there to piss you off and be a thorn in your side in, like, pretty much every single mission.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's, like, they're almost kind of, like, not bosses. They're just annoyances. Like, that's what they're made for, is to just piss you off.
Mm-hmm.
But the other ones are bosses, and they are also made to piss you off.
Yeah, they're awful
Yep.
every time.
they're like Manchurian candidates too.
What that means.
They're just like they're mind slaves. They've been like
yeah.
programmed.
The girls,
Yeah.
The Klaus Waltz came in with his tank, and he decided to install like a Gatling gun on the top of his tank.
Oh my god, dude, I fucking
I
hate
think-
the Vulcans so much.
What? That just doesn't feel like balanced or fair. It seems like it kind of breaks the rules that they set up.
Yeah,
Because it's
I
not
agree.
interception fire. It's
Yeah, he
literally
can do it
while
when
he's
he's
moving.
driving around. So as long as he
That
just,
is-
if he wanted to, he could just drive it around and kill your whole team in one
Yeah.
turn. If he wanted, he just doesn't.
And
He
the
doesn't
tank path
know.
thing,
He doesn't know
doesn't-
his own power.
Oh, he doesn't know.
we're lucky he's such a fucking smooth-brained womanizer.
Yeah.
that he's not a great tactician like Cloud Waltz.
To be honest, when I first met Claus, I thought he was gay. I definitely thought he was gay.
Well, I mean, he
Why?
calls you
'Cause
he calls you his soulmate instantly.
He immediately. I thought he was going after Claude. Like I thought
Oh,
he
yeah.
truly loved Claude.
That would be cool, actually, if he
That
did.
would-
Yeah, I agree.
Like, that would be a much more interesting dynamic.
Right?
Like, other than just, like, a stupid soulmate in
One
battle
hundred
sort of
percent
thing.
agree.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean it like that, bro. Come on.
Like, Claude finally comes around and he's like, all right, let's date.
I
And then
meant,
he's like,
like-
whoa.
I just meant like
soulmates in
soulmates
combat.
on the battlefield.
Yeah. But the tank pathing I mentioned, like, is so fucked up. And sometimes the Vulcan will get, like, locked. Like, it'll just be, like, turning really slowly or something and just
Yeah.
killing. Dude, I remember, that thing is insane. That machine gun is so powerful.
Dan,
It's fucked up.
what
It's
happened to
really-
your Dan? Your
Yeah, Dan. He's literally Dan, full health Dan. Took, like, less than a second of fire to be killed by that Gatling gun. It was
Yeah.
like it was a split. It was like a snap, and he was dead from full health from that thing.
Replaying the footage, I think it was the very first bullet that destroyed his tank.
Thousands of damage
Damn.
from one bullet.
Dan is just my martyr. He's always dying for a good cause in my my game.
That's what he was designed to be.
Yeah,
I
he's
Trojan
liked
horse.
I liked Dan, but his car was never tanky enough. Dan's
Yeah, it's
van
not-
was
it's
just
not
not
supposed to be
tanky enough,
tanky.
and it just would defeat the purpose of kind of like an armed transport vehicle when
Oh,
everyone inside is gonna die.
You just gotta unload them before they die.
Yeah, but when you go around the corner and you die to a millisecond of interception fire.
That would only ever happen against the Vulcan for me.
I
but
guess,
I thought
yeah,
Dan was
yeah.
just busted. He was too
Yeah,
good.
Dan was very strong, and I love that he gets that that bonus where he's like, "Hey, I got more AP to bring my boys even farther." I love when he get that.
That is really good.
But yeah, for combat, he would literally I'd just be like, "All right, Dan, you're gonna go die again. Just bring everyone over here, and
Yeah.
I'll leave you to just your own devices."
And he didn't have permadeath, He could just get killed
Yeah.
and you'd be like, okay, see you later.
That's his version
Don't have to
of.
spend a CP to get him back. He's just gone and he comes back.
I didn't know
Only in
Dan
some
was immortal
missions.
like that. I guess being a tank operator.
He's he's not really a main character, but he also kind of is. He
Yeah.
exists in this weird limbo.
Yeah.
They keep
he's
throwing
cool.
him in. He'll be one of the first people you'll see in a cutscene if it's got the rest of the soldiers in it.
Yeah, but he's also not he's not mid 20s, late teens, so he doesn't really count as a main
Yeah.
character.
He's like a C-lister.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Well,
That was-
the creators of Valkyria did him up like a C-lister, even though he's
Yeah.
a gold star character.
Yeah. 5-star.
He facilitated Lancers the best for me.
Oh,
Just trying to drive them behind tanks, and then they'd get out, blast the tank, and then just get right back in the APC and carry on.
Hell yeah. Same with me for Grenadiers.
That's
So
amazing.
I could just be a little farther away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
It was good.
I usually just had my scouts be the chauffeur.
They'd kill the tanks.
What? Oh no,
Oh,
my scouts
they'd
would just
chauffeur.
carry the lancers with them,
Yeah.
command them
them.
to run with them.
That was, Grenadiers, Great Edition, APC's Great Edition. That was
APC's a
another
good edition.
thing that really added to the variety of ways to complete a mission. It was really cool.
You had a specific vehicle slot, so they kind of dictated what missions you could bring Dan or, another tank on, which
Yep.
is a little unfortunate, but it was cool because you could really take advantage of him when he was allowed most of the time.
Yeah, faux show.
A lot of the time, I honestly preferred to just have a second tank, just for extra firepower and getting difficult tanks and difficult enemies in general, and just the fact that tanks are overpowered in this game in general. Especially when you unlock Glory.
Yeah.
Glory, the tank.
I never
Glory a
used the
lot?
Glory. Was it good?
It was really fast. It could go
I used
really
it a few
far.
times.
It was fast, and it wasn't very tanky, but it could deal a lot of damage, just as much as the Hafen. I'm pretty sure. So
That's cool.
yeah,
If you,
Very good.
me, I don't like to spend, more than 1 point per enemy kill. Who shoots the front of a tank?
Yep,
I'd rather
right.
spend 2 or 3 points to get behind it and shoot one bullet and blow it up instantly than shoot it from the front
Right.
ever.
Yeah.
So it's like the glory
Waste ammo or
is
waste
just kind
movement.
of a yeah. And
Oh, is that what the Glory was that was how it was made? It was
It was
designed?
it could move, a little faster, I think, than the Hafen could, and it was smaller. So there were some times where you could squeeze it, past some stuff that the Hafen couldn't fit.
I
through.
made it.
How's that AP? Does it have a good move pool?
I thought it was pretty all right.
Yeah,
you'd
pretty
have
good
to
move pool.
stick with. I think you don't have armor-piercing shells, but you could switch it for a flamethrower or just a better machine gun. But I don't know. I never did that. It was just kind of a tank assassin for me most of the time.
That's cool.
Thank God for the once again it only costs 1 point to move a tank now. Otherwise, I would probably never ever use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would maybe use it once per turn if I really needed a tank for something. But then if you're not getting like a full track of movement speed, because a lot of the time the best use of the tank is just to be a tank, just to be a big wall, pretty much for your people. Your brothers in arms.
Press the advance a lot, and then turned it into a wall. It was great at getting guys that were in cover, because usually if a guy's in cover, it's going to take more than one turn to kill them. So it's so funny to, especially earlier in the game when the maps are a little smaller, you could just drive the tank up, smack a sandbag out from under a guy, so he has to stand up, and then just drive back behind him and surprise attack him like he doesn't know the tank's coming.
Yeah.
That shit was just hilarious.
Thank God I didn't get mowed down by that tank.
Even though just driving straight over the sandbag and then over that person, they take no damage from being driven over by the tank.
Yep.
Which is always kind of weird. I thought that they should at least take damage maybe per one collision per turn or something like that.
Yeah.
But just like driving straight over someone and the sandbag that they were taking cover under, and then they get up, and then you can shoot them from behind and surprise them. Like they didn't see the tank coming, and they don't know what's shooting them.
It's very funny.
The beauty of the turn-based tactics in this game, you could do some wacky shit.
Yep, and just
I wonder how time rolls forward for the people in the battle. Like, I wonder if everything is happening simultaneously. Like, you know what I mean? Like in D&D, each turn takes 6 seconds, but it's implied to, like, everything is happening all at once. Like, in that 6 seconds, yeah. So I wonder if, like, a turn in Valkyria, like, I just wonder what it's like.
Everyone just has to stand there and let you do all your moves first.
Yeah,
it's 1-to-1, yeah.
Yeah, imagine that. Like, if it's all happening for everyone all at the same time, then Alicia, who just, like, runs out first turn and then gets AP up right after expending her full movement speed and runs a whole nother set of movement speed. She's basically like the Flash. Like, she's just so fast, darting in between
she's like
opponents
the Flash.
and running at hyper speeds through the enemies, taking all of my actions and just shooting so many people, just being a one-man army. Channel all of your commanding energy into one single vessel for you to command.
The ultimate soldier.
Alicia.
Mysterious Alicia.
But yeah, like Chimera. Speaking of bosses, I want to go back because we never talked about Chimera.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to talk about Chimera. That's the problem. She fucking sucks.
Yeah, the Valkyria, was it that bad in the first game? I never felt like, were bosses this annoying in the first game?
There was only a couple of them in the first game. I feel like the first game had about the same amount of missions, but it just felt shorter. And there didn't feel... I know for sure there's a big sort of tank boss in that game that is a big...
I remember that one.
That's a wall. People hate that one. So it's almost no surprise that I don't think any of us liked those in this game, but you only run into Salvaria, the Valkyria, a couple times, I think, and she just kind of did a machine gun fire at you as her.
Yeah, like her thing was pretty similar to that Chimera thing, where it was like, oh, you just have to get out of this field, right?
I think so.
It was pretty basic.
It's been a while.
Oh.
Yeah, there's some interesting, like, weird balancing things that I think they might have to work on for boss fights in this game, like the turret gun.
Yep, that's the biggest instance for me is that.
Yeah,
alone.
I think that's the most egregious thing. Yeah, that's really.
It's like if you could just drive over someone and just crush them to death
and kill over and over and over and kill them.
Yep.
Yeah,
but you could do that from a distance with his gun.
And you would still have to expend resources to do that, so it would almost, like, you have to expend your AP. So it would almost be fair, but for him, it's, like, free. He could probably just sit there and not do anything and kill you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have to move. He could just idle in a spot for a little bit longer, like a couple seconds.
It breaks the rules of engagement.
Yeah, that's the thing is everyone is standing still. Everyone is waiting for Waltz to use his turn, but he is taking as much time as he wants and he's shooting everybody and everyone's like, "Dude, this isn't fair. This is
That's
against the rules."
that's the thing about a soldier like Klaus. He doesn't follow the conventional rules of battle.
Yeah.
That's what's put him so high up in the enemy ranks. His
Yeah, it's his
unconventional
competitive
strategies.
spirit.
And Chimera, she's like a Grenadier type boss where she can just snipe you from a million miles away, like 100 times. Like she fires like 8 shots or something like that.
Yeah,
Like
she shoots so much. The AoE feels way bigger. It fucking
Yeah.
just
She
shreds anybody.
She can snipe you from a different chapter.
Yeah, it feels like it.
It really does, yeah. And the final boss. What a
And the
funny.
final boss.
Oh my gosh.
You didn't have
funny
nearly
one.
as much trouble as I think me and Kiowa did. That shit was infuriating.
Yeah, I downloaded him. I had him downloaded and ready to go.
You played Grenadier. You played right.
I had my Grenadier build. I had Aoife. That's all I need.
Yeah, that final boss. I didn't know if we should talk about it or wait for getting into the plot or something, but yeah, we might as well talk about the final boss,
Yeah, we
right?
could talk about the final boss if we're talking about all the bosses and like weird shit,
Yeah.
right? This is all kind of gameplay stuff, but we could
Yeah.
get into like
I
the
still want
story
to talk
implications.
about Chromaria too. Just
Yeah.
so there's a lot of gameplay implications, but Kiowa,
Yeah,
I concede to you.
Yeah, that tank fight was awful for me. I was Lancers. I was like full Lancers at that point. That tank was filled with like how many guns? Like
There's like 4 guns on each side.
yeah, like 4 guns per side, and then 2 on the front, 2 on the back. There's guns up on the
main
second
gun.
level that will
Yeah.
shoot you when you're up there, trying to shoot those vents that open up, and only 1 vent opens per turn.
Oh, and something else that kind of breaks the conventions of the game is that he'll instantly deploy reinforcements around him, like
Yeah.
in the middle of
Yeah,
your turn.
yeah. They'll be down like there will be mortarmen too. Like he'll one of those funnily enough, a Grenadier
And they'll be set up already and ready to intercept
who
you,
has
like
perfect
in
vision.
your turn.
Oh, and
Yeah.
each of his 16 guns can fire while he moves too, except his movement pattern is static, so
Yeah, that's
it's slightly more balanced in that way.
yeah. That one was very strange. I don't know.
That tank.
Just
I mean, the tank was very formidable, very crazy. My Claude just literally was demolished immediately by that, somehow was aquatic tank, this aquatic ice. It's literally an
don't
ATV.
think about it too much.
The only place
Doesn't
it
make
cannot go is the sky. Yet.
Yet.
But I'm sure Belgar
futuristic World War
was
II
working
tech.
on something. This is kind of like if the Nazis had somehow, developed this tank technology that they needed to turn the tide of battle. They needed a sort of like an underwater ice shredding sort of panzer that could totally demolish the Allied forces with
Yeah.
like 80 guns all on one
And they
armored
constantly
vehicle.
fire. Yeah.
Oh, it's like with the Vulcan, but on steroids. Because
Yeah.
that tank is so slow, it'll just slowly drive across like the map into the nearest puddle, and just jump beneath the ice, and just pop up in another random location wherever it deems the best strategic location to pop up. Like right behind the Hafen, so it gets a perfect shot at that radiator.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
So then I couldn't
wonder-
issue orders for the rest of the game.
That sounds like a restart to me.
Yeah,
it
that
would have been,
I would have
but
fucking conceded at that
It-
point.
it
and just
would have
tried.
been.
were essential.
it would have been. But I would remember, how you already got Riley across. I did not save scum. I didn't think to save scum it. I don't know
That
why.
was
It
like
was
the
the final. It
ultimate
was
mission
literally
to
the
save
final.
scum.
It was the final boss, but I did not think to save scum it with Riley running across. I thought they were going to throw like a boss at me in the next mission or something, but yeah, I don't know. It
I
was,
think that was
not
for
my
sure
not my
the
best
worst.
judgment, and I picked the worst units to do it. It took me 19 full turns, and at that 20th turn, I would have lost, and for just the fact that it took too long. And yeah, that was just so crazy. Such a way to close the game out for me. Just this
Doing
mega
that mission as
struggle.
intended is just I don't.
Putting
They wanted
up
to be so elaborate
ladders.
with it. Yeah, you got to put up ladders with engineers. You have to bring your engineers around to the ice like holes that he dives in, and if you blow them both up, then he just keeps driving into the same puddle and then emerging from the exact same spot. It makes no sense. It's so dumb. I fucking hate that mission so much. Do not do it as you're supposed to do it. It's suffering.
Yep.
Just get Aoife. Bring Aoife.
Just
Get her
bring
the
a Grenadier.
Elias mortars, and just leave it to her. That's all.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Wow. Yep, I definitely missed an opportunity there. And the only Grenadier that I used the entire game was in the Cavalier at that point.
In
Wait.
the Centurion?
Centurion, sorry.
You
I
just
don't know
not-
why
just not
I called
deployed?
it.
Oh yeah, okay.
No, the only Grenadier that I used the whole game was Riley.
Right.
And this
You
is
made a
this is
blunder. You should have been used spamming Grenadiers.
right.
Yeah.
I totally should have. I was totally sleeping on him. And I guess here's the thing that I fell into. And I don't know if you guys were able to have a different experience in this. So like your leaders, if you bring a leader with you, you just get extra command points per round, right?
Yep.
So you're just obligated to bring every single leader, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a huge problem, I think.
Yeah. So then now my roster, when you only get 10 total troops, is like 6 of those or 7 of those people are like leaders. So then
Yeah,
most of your roster is already filled. It's already going to be the same crew every single time. And then the only extra people I brought were like Aladdin, maybe Vancy, and then a single like engineer to restock everyone. And then I've just got no room for those mortars on my squad. So I basically was going most missions without them, unless I would like spawn them in after, other characters would go. But my only like main deployed character, I guess, at the end was Riley. I think I got rid of everyone else because I just stopped using Grenadiers in general, and I didn't want them taking up spaces on my roster.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I didn't like that either, and especially with some of the things they do later in the game. Like it's strange. It's good that that's all split up, like class wise. So I guess you have a variety, but most of the time I wanted to branch out and use different units, not just like the same like Minerva all the time. I mean, I love Minerva.
And it's something that even if they couldn't do it for the story, I think once you beat the game and start getting into post game, there's a lot of really cool stuff in the post game, and I'm surprised that they don't let you start taking the main characters out and assigning your own leaders into those top slots. It's just kind of it's a missed opportunity, I think, not to let you explore more combat options because you're just gimping yourself by not sending all those guys out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, I also feel like with leaders, like you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot if you don't make your leader a scout.
Yep. Well,
Disagree.
Really?
Because I used Grenadier. I used Aoife
As
my
your
leader,
leader.
and she got infinite turns and was able to just command herself and run away. It was really, really handy.
Wait, what? You can
using
command
the
yourself?
command. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you do the follow thing. You use the command, and then it refills your AP. So I would just spam like 3 grenades from Aoife, and her AP would be like essentially gone. And then I would just command her. She's got full AP to retreat and resupply.
I did not know that command would refill your AP. Interesting.
Yeah, it's
good.
there's some strategies. I know where you're coming from by using scouts, to chauffeur your guys around the map.
Exactly, yeah.
But you already have Minerva, you know?
True. Got Minerva. I just felt like I needed another person like Alicia.
That's what Dan's for, baby.
I guess that could be what Dan's for. Yeah, I guess you're right. But then
Dan the Man.
Yeah, that's true.
But I get
Dan
it.
Dan the Man in his big metal van.
Yeah, I guess I was having big mobility issues that game, and I was relying really heavily on the scouts. But Dan would have been a hugely valuable addition to my team.
Yeah, you just kind of have to leave him be and just let him die. I feel like you just have to resign
once
yourself.
Once he becomes the lost cause, yeah.
And I never liked to let any of my characters die. I would always be so freaked out about it. I think when I was playing the first one, I thought that if like a tank dies, then you just don't get it back. Like it's just gone. So I was like so concerned that if the Edelweiss ever got blown up, that it would just truly be gone for good.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It was just a different time.
I was letting my guys go down constantly in this game. Yeah. Like every mission, I would have people go down because it was no big deal. Just have an engineer pick them back up, or just ignore them and press on because they're not dead unless an enemy troop like goes way the fuck out of his way to stand over their body and kill them, which just never happens. Especially
in later missions, it's kind of like you just need to. People are just gonna die, and it's just like, okay, just die.
Yeah,
I'd bring
just
guys in to just die. Yeah, it was bad. It got harder, but
yep,
it just had to be done.
In that last boss, I think the only reason I didn't bother with my Grenadiers is because of the hilarious R&D thing, where once you build a weapon, it just auto-equips your entire roster of that type with that weapon unless they had a unique one. So I didn't have any anti-tank Grenadiers. I had accidentally built like a stronger anti-personnel, so I couldn't do any damage to tanks with that mission with them. I vividly recall having my Aoife out there and saying, no, sorry, girlie, but you're useless right now.
That's awful.
Fuck.
And then they have the hard mode of that mission. And it's the same thing, but with one useless extra mechanic that you can also ignore.
Yeah, that was funny. I was like, did I miss that my first time? The little vent thing that you can shoot? Nope.
Yeah.
It just felt so insignificant.
Yeah, I totally... Are you talking about the... Wait, which mission were you talking about again?
The last mission. And there's
there's a hard mode version of it that you can unlock.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about that a little later, I'm sure.
And it's dumb.
And it's dumb,
We'll talk about it later, but it's dumb.
I remember saying, at that point I had learned that there's an easier strategy to do with Grenadiers, but I felt like doing the mission again just normally, because I thought maybe they would add more mechanics. Otherwise, why was it another mission? And then, nope, it was the same. It was a waste of time. Oops.
I wonder why they do stuff like that.
I don't know.
Do they not
Their boss
change
design is just strange.
Did bots make this game?
They might have.
It feels like sometimes.
That can be a focus of our analysis.
They whenever they have boss encounters, they just try to make them so elaborate and stuff is so not communicated well. Like, it took me so long to understand what do you do against Chromaria when you can't kill her, You can't stop her. And do they say, hey, on the map these dotted areas are cover and you're invincible? Like, did they ever explicitly say that? Because I didn't know that even after the first Chromaria mission.
Only the shelters, like the actual shelters. Like those, I think they said, like, you can hide under here from mortars. But in that map where it's like I remember asking you guys, like, is that yellow part? Like, can I go under there? Does that mean I'm safe?
Yeah, that mission has like reverse cover where it's telling you it's dangerous.
But then they highlight that area, so you're just drawn to it.
Yeah. In the first mission with Chromaria, where she's introduced and you have to hide from her, and you have to hide mostly under big ice pillars, but like you can't see them when you're in third person, or at least I struggled to see what was actual cover, because it's like it's a binary thing in the game. If you're either undercover or you're not, and even if you get directly hit by a grenade or Chromaria undercover, you're invincible to it.
Yeah,
it's really fucked.
It's
There's
so
some really
funny that
fucked up like big problems with perspective and like being able to know what's around you in that
Yeah.
game.
yeah.
Like
Oh
for
my
one thing,
gosh.
I fucking hate that you can't go into like the actual map on your turn after you've like
Oh.
commanded someone. You just have the
Yeah.
tiny little mini map to look at for reference, and that could be a potential waste of an entire turn. And I also hate that you can't go down into the
And look
field
in the
view and
third
look
person when
around.
you're in the map. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
without like using your turn and getting shot at from like snipers across the map,
Yeah.
interception fire. Like sometimes you just have to run away and not have any breadth of knowledge of the surroundings or anything because there's just no way to like look for reference at all.
Yeah,
You
it's a
can
little
look at the
annoying.
little strings that show you where maybe there might be another character, the general
Yeah, the
vicinity.
sight
Yeah.
lines or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
But
sometimes you look at the map and you see a guy and you're like, "Oh, I have a sight line on him. I definitely know where they are." And then you go into third person, and you're like, "Okay, where are they now?"
Yeah.
like
Like,
that
it's so
mission
hard
with
to
the
find
with that mission with the bombs, like
Yeah, the mission with the
oh
bombs.
my gosh, that was truly the biggest issue because you had to like triangulate the positions of those bombs.
They're
And
way,
just
way,
looking
way
at
up
the
in the
mini
air.
map, like you would look at the map and you would look and then you would go into your character and you'd realize that you didn't even have a clear shot of that thing because it was covered up by some stalactite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or else you could target it, but your shot would be it'd be out of range
Yep,
still.
yep.
But you'd
Because
still
you
be able to like
you
snap
can't see
to
like
it.
the range arrow. There's an arrow that shows over enemies that would change to red if you were in range, but
Oh,
they're
right.
so far up at the top of the screen, like you can't see it clearly a lot of the time,
Yeah.
or at all in that mission.
Right. Yeah. it
What
was
a
really bad.
yeah, that was just a nightmare.
There's
I
some
didn't like that
perspective
one.
problems with that
Yeah.
stuff that I'm just not.
That seems like an easy fix in the future, but I agree that it was an annoyance.
Yeah.
It was easy enough when I had as good of snipers as like Aladdin and Kai on my team. I actually did you guys end up using a lot of snipers or just Kai?
Kai usually always
I ended up using everybody. Oh, you just in general, like
Yeah.
sniper
like on your
squad.
standard team.
Yeah.
Sniper. I didn't particularly lean into snipers, I guess, but once again, I just went variety. It would really depended on the mission, deploying a lot of people.
I'd
Yeah,
almost
I always used
always
Kai.
yeah, I'd almost always put two snipers, Aladdin and Kai. Like Aladdin, I'm pretty sure I brought on every mission, and I'm pretty sure I brought Kai on every mission as well. So, like, yeah, I was pretty heavily reliant on snipers, and those guys just got to be so good by the end of the game. They when they become elites, they get reaction fire. So
Yes,
then,
dude, that was a great
oh
addition
my
as
gosh.
well.
Now, my main goal for them was to just put them in like a super tall area or like a super, high visibility zone and just let them be the mega guard for that area. And I would give them the triple shot sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Oh man,
That's
and
cool.
they get 3 shots at those people. And sometimes they would hit headshots on interception fire and just like drop enemies.
Yeah, that's sick. Yeah, that's cool. That's another thing that I think they did a pretty good job. Like the variety of like weapons. There was like a cool. I never used it, but there was a cool like sniper rifle that was like anti-armor sniper rifle, like made
Yeah.
specifically for like that's cool. And I'm sure there's other
I
weapons
could
like
never
that too. But
find the time to really use it, but yeah,
Yeah.
I want more, even more variety, but maybe
Yeah.
like a better way to. It's kind of confusing looking through the weapon list, I think, or I have
Yeah.
trouble deciphering exactly what I want to use. But
yeah,
yeah,
like that one sniper that the Brondel.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That one even has like it applies status effects. I wish
Oh,
there was
yeah.
kind of more like cool status effect guns and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was a scout. There was a scout rifle that would lower, like defense. I think
Yeah.
there was also another scout rifle. I think it was that would make you. It would unload the enemy's clip.
I fucking hate whenever the enemies would have that. The designers would specifically put them around corners, so you'd come around and like just instantly get shot by one bullet and lose all your ammo for whatever you're. I hate that.
Oh,
they,
Oh,
they
man.
did it just to fuck with you.
That's funny.
that's so bad. Shock troopers, though, I also really heavily relied on because of those flamethrowers.
Yeah.
So
Shock
good.
troopers are the
Even if
best.
someone's crouching behind cover, you can just go and burn them to death. And you can hit multiple enemies with one
Yeah,
sweep.
I found that super useful too. So, that's a way to avoid the whole, oh, it takes 2 turns to kill these guys because they're crouching behind a sandbag.
Yeah.
Just
And,
flamethrower them.
remember what you were saying about Crymeria, and how do you defeat
And how she
her?
sucks.
And how she sucks to fight and just is just awful in general.
Yeah.
My eventual ultimate strategy for dealing with her, once the mission where you finally can learn how to fight her, you just have to, snipe her
Yeah,
crystal
she
first.
she wasn't
That
a
was
problem
so-
in that mission, I thought, but
Yeah, not really
trying
a
to
problem
learn
at
how
all, I
to
guess, but-
deal with her.
Yeah, just exactly. I guess. Yeah, the very first time I had to deal with her, like, she would like turn her head and like look at someone if they like
Yeah.
went and ran off in a direction. So I just sent like Vancy to run off into some random direction, and it did not look like she was under something, but the game must have thought she was under something because Crymeria was just obsessed with her for the rest of that whole mission, and turn
Yeah.
after turn, she would just be looking at her and just shooting all of her attacks right at Vancy, and I would see all of those like crystal shards raining down around her and exploding on Vancy, and Vancy doesn't take an ounce of damage because she's
That's how that
technically
mission went
under
for
something.
me too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like wow. I just think stuff like that is so crazy, and it looks like the most chaotic like explosion, and the animation just goes
But
on
you're
and
just
on and
immune.
on. And
On
then
and on.
they just stand there and they don't even acknowledge anything. And then it's all over, and then they might turn and like look and do like a little sweating.
Yeah. I love that.
This game has so much. There's so many different things you can do, and that's what I end up really admiring and loving in this game. Your strategy was probably way different than mine, and mine was way different than Jade's. Like, you could do whatever the hell you want, and it's just so you can do such funny stuff.
Yeah.
Just go crazy, go stupid.
That's
love
so
it.
true.
It's,
yeah.
it's super cool. Yeah, I mean all the additions and stuff like really just add to the crazy variety of ways to tackle everything. It's really I hope that they keep making more games of this series, because if they continuously add nice things like cool improvements like that, and cool mission variety and everything, like it has the potential to be really good.
Dude, and they added accessories for your units to kit them out
Yeah.
more. There's so much more ways to interact with your squad. Oh my god, yeah. There's a lot
Yeah.
going on in a mission that is now it feels different. Each mission could feel different compared to a different person playing the game, and
Yeah.
VC1 felt a lot more linear.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think they're going in the right direction with the franchise if they are looking to make it a continued franchise. I mean, the fact that they're already on 4, I think they already pretty clearly want to continue it as a franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
But in any case, yeah, like I think just the way that they're going with their games, just the improvements from the first game already are like pretty evident, and I think by the time that they have another game ready to put out, I think they're going to be way more polished, and they're going to probably have, I don't know, they could either just double down on the fan service, or they could double down on the actual cool mechanics.
Yeah, I hope
their
they're
game.
doing the latter.
Please
Please,
do
mechanics.
mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story.
What?
The story. What more needs to be said?
Yeah, for me, I just I am trying to think of how to word it. There's a lot of allegations thrown around in the debate. Triple M Mind Mush Material was thrown around, and almost nearly instantly it seemed that it was apparent to me that Valkyria Chronicles 4 is, I think it's Mind Mush Material. I think it falls within the realms of Mind Mush Material.
I honestly, yeah, I agree pretty much right away. The first few missions, I was face palming pretty hard. At times even regretting my ballot on the vote.
Whoa, yeah, boy. We could have been playing Disco Elysium right now, dude.
Yeah, it was a tough vote for me, and then just playing like right when Valkyria 4 started was a low point because even though I was enjoying the aspects of the game, I was already just like kind of, I don't know. I had a tongue-in-cheek way of going about everything in game because I heard those words, Mind Mush Material, and it just was so painfully true. Just the dialogue choices, the way that they portrayed characters. Like, I remember I wanted to like screenshot everything that Raz was saying and like send it to you guys, but. But then I just thought, if I just sent these guys all these screenshots, it would just be like every word of his dialogue. So
it would be all the dialogue of the whole game.
They're just gonna see that very soon. So
right away, I know this is based off of like real World War II stuff. Like Germany tried to push in through Russia, right? Like they did this exact same thing, but. It just was so funny, like the context of the story, like instantly it was like, oh man, the Empire's been just slowly pushing their lines and taking so much of the Federation territory. I guess what our secret plan is to get all of our guys and fight them back. And it works. And it's just like, it's like their big plan is to just fight. Their big plan is to fight back against the Empire and make a beeline to the thing. And they were like, didn't even think about it's just, that's just a minor thing, but I had humongous problems with like, there was no character development in this game. I feel like it was not very good. Like,
no,
it kind of made me sad.
Some characters had a little bit of development.
Yeah, I think some characters had development.
Like minor development though. Like I guess I was just let down with Claude because it seems like all of his character development that they hint at, it like happened before the story. Yeah. And so I was like kind of waiting for that time that he would slip up and like have to redeem his mistake. And it never happened. He's just the strongest, best commander of all time, I guess. Mm-hmm. And like you never, all you know is Scaredy Claude. And you're like, well, you don't really have experience with him as Scaredy Claude. So he's just Welkin 2.0. He's just Claude.
He always has. He has a lot of moments in the story where he is questioning himself, and then someone comes up and says that he's Scaredy Claude, and he says, "You know what? No, I'm not." And then he just does the right thing.
You could kind of like also take another look at it. Like, you ask yourself the question: is Claude strong enough to lead his soldiers to victory?
Yes.
That's what it's all about at the end of the day. Either Claude is strong enough or Claude is not strong enough. And anyone who's known defeat knows exactly what I mean when I say.
Oh yeah, okay. Sorry guys. Looks like I wasn't strong enough. Yeah.
Oh.
When he dies.
You'll be seeing a lot of that throughout your time in battle.
I wish like the one kind of cool, interesting thing they touched on is when like his decision making was being affected by how desensitized to war he'd become.
Yeah.
But it was literally like 2 lines and then it was like over. Like there was no development or like any exploration on it. It was like for every cool scene like that, there was like 5 scenes of them like talking about dumb shit and like touching tits and ass and like all the stupid stuff, like dumb anime stuff. It was I just wish that they would focus more on like a little bit cooler stuff, like just war stuff instead of just fun stuff. But maybe that doesn't sell. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and like you were saying earlier, you brought up a good point. Like they start the story and they're just in the middle of this war. Mm-hmm. Like there's no context for the war. There's no greater motive for the war.
There is.
Well, to be fair,
I guess maybe
it's the exact same war from like all the games. Yeah, so it's kind of like established, I guess, already.
They want Ragnite, and there's a lot of Ragnite because it's a precious material, it's fuel, and there's a lot of it in the Federation lands, and that's why they're pushing in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I suppose,
it's still like pretty flimsy, you know. I mean, it's just an excuse to have anime World War II.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like crazy political or anything like that, but I just wish that the ramifications of like war were explored better. That's
Yeah,
all.
this is like anime World War II, but without like the real weight. Like
Yeah.
there's only some like minorly heavy stuff that happens over the
And
course of the game.
it's the best stuff in
It is.
in the
Honestly,
entire plot
yeah.
by
like
a long
remember
shot.
like when that one guy from that town got like hung up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought the story was going to have some good moments if it had continued on that trend when they're like, it's not all fun and games here. There is death, but then they kind of forget about it for a long time.
Yeah.
There aren't really a lot of casualties that you see.
Nope.
Yeah, and the fact, like, I think, like having to order Raz essentially to his death was a cool moment. Like
I thought that was
you know,
awesome. That was my favorite part of the game.
Yeah,
Honestly,
that was
yeah.
real good. That was cool because like I was kind of thinking that Raz was just gonna go off like he always does throughout the story, but I think because he just runs and does his own thing all the time without being ordered to. And that was the
Character
one time he was like,
development, baby.
yeah, that was a great moment, very earned. And then obviously the lever thing was cool, the activating the bomb, but it turned out kind of dumb. It turned out to be dumb. It started cool and turned out to be dumb.
Yeah. So hold on, I have a question about that bomb. Like
Yeah.
when he was gonna detonate that bomb, was he gonna like suicide himself and all of the squad?
They said they had an hour once he flipped it to get out.
Oh, okay.
That
I
was
thought
the
he
premise.
He made it seem like he was gonna stay there though, right?
Yeah, like he
I
was
didn't
gonna
get
go
that
down with
impression.
the
They
ship.
specifically said they had an hour to get out after they flipped it.
Yeah,
And
that
then
was
they,
what the
and
whole
then they would
mission
have
was
to.
for.
It would blow up the whole city, kill lots, like millions of innocent people.
Yeah, I could have sworn Claude did say some shit about going down with the ship,
Yeah, I thought he
but
did too. But
maybe
not.
I don't have proof of that either. But
either way, the squaddies, the important characters would live, and Claude
yeah,
would.
Yeah,
I gotta also vent I really gotta vent about Riley because I hate Riley.
what do you hate about Riley?
Look, it's not just like the slapping and like the bitchy attitude in the very beginning. Like that's whatever. I thought that was actually interesting because I thought it was gonna be like, whoa, we're meeting up with our childhood friends and everything's so cool. But she like hates Claude or whatever. But there was this thing, the pyrophobia that she
Yeah.
has that is in one cutscene. It's like it's the source of her huge
Riley's
trauma.
infamous pyrophobia.
Yeah, it's like the source of her trauma and why she like hates Claude in the first place. And then like the second that she forgives Claude and is like, I'll let you lead me in battle or whatever, she gets over her pyrophobia and it like is replaced by a thing that makes her stronger when Claude is around. And then like that's dumb. That's dumb enough. But then they go then there's like never flames in a mission. Like you never have to play around with that debuff of pyrophobia. And then all of a sudden, like once she's over it, there's a mission afterwards when the whole camp is like attacked and on fire. But she's
Yeah.
already over her pyrophobia, so you don't have to like worry about it or manage it or anything. It was just dumb. And also
Yeah.
she should have fucking died.
and
at the
yeah,
end.
and
She
they
fucking-
have moments of her, playing around with fire,
yeah.
near it, but like the context for it has already been resolved. It was resolved so quickly. I don't know. They missed.
It was resolved.
the
It wasn't
timing.
even resolved. It was like her trauma of flames wasn't
It
directly
just went
addressed.
away.
It just went away, yeah. And she had the one scene of her like breaking down and running away from fire, and then like it's not resolved at all. It's just gone. It's just
It's funny
disappeared.
because I almost forget that she ever had it. It was so long ago and it was so minor.
And maybe that's like my fault for thinking that it was going to be this cool. Like I thought there'd be character development or character growth past these things, but it just like went away, just disappeared. And yeah, she should have
Certainly
died at
not
the fucking end because like I hate that because there's this psychotic fucking crazed psychopathic killer that's terrorized you for half the game and then you have your gun drawn first and you go, hey, get out of my way, and then obviously she goes, I'm gonna kill you. And then like I just thought it was like, is this World War II or like kill your enemies, you have to kill this crazy like I don't know. It was just,
and
it was just
she
weird.
somehow defeats her with just a single bullet wound. She doesn't even use that kind of caliber of a weapon.
Yeah, I wish
give
there were
her such a
handguns,
wound.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she like
then-
because she uses the dunkel or whatever. But
Yeah, that's true.
and then Riley has a handgun, but not in the game. And
Not in the
also,
game,
no
yep.
classes have handguns, which are the coolest gun.
Handgun, the coolest gun.
So basically, yeah, they're missing a huge opportunity because historically, yes, pistols were used in World War II.
Yeah, everyone
they
probably
used
had a
guns.
sidearm, but
Yeah. They I don't know. And then the whole true ending thing like really rubbed me way
So
wrong.
Yeah,
what is the
dude,
difference?
the
Okay,
true
I
ending.
only just when I was doing some research found out about true ending versus what is there even another ending?
It's not even another
It's
ending, and
hilarious.
it's not even a true ending. It's just another cutscene that follows the end of the first cutscene for some
and
reason.
it's so
like-
short.
It's
and
so
it has
short.
like the weirdest requirements to get to see it. It's stupid.
It's really strange, and that kind of leads into another thing I had. I hate the forced romance. I hate the romance in this game so much because it's so weird. It just doesn't feel like it doesn't feel earned, I guess.
It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't
Yeah.
even feel like do
Yeah.
you ever get the impression that Claude even was like in love with Riley? Or they just or that either were like in love with each other, like they're like
They have some
don't know.
tsundere stuff going on when they're in that imperial town early on. You know,
yeah.
there are signs that stuff is
Yeah,
building
yeah.
up.
Yeah, there are like it's just like the no. I guess that's one thing that made me sad is because those extra scenes that you have to unlock to watch the true ending are like the ones that build up their relationship, and you don't
Yeah.
get to see them in the main game.
I literally don't understand why any of it was kept for post game optional. Like, I don't know why it wasn't just in the game by default. The extra ending, the interludes,
Yeah.
none of it makes sense to
Juicy.
me.
Extra ending. Yeah,
It really doesn't make sense. Because I was thinking like you do this stuff and the ending, like everything leading up would be different. Like I thought, oh, Riley's gonna kill the girl and not get shot dead. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's just unfolding the exact same. And then I was like, oh, maybe it's like at the end when they're all saluting the ship, instead of like stopping to salute the ship, he's like, oh, Riley needs medical attention. Like I thought that was the funniest thing when the ship is going down and he like lays Riley like dead on the top of his tank, and she's just laying
Salutes.
there, and they all just salute instead of like, hey, we need a medic, dude.
And then they roll her up in the true ending. They roll her up in a wheelchair, and I thought, okay, so there are ramifications for
Yeah.
this. But then she just stands up.
I was like, I would have accepted if she was like, you
And then
know,
Claude was rough with her. He was like throwing her around. She just barely could stand up from her wheelchair.
and also something really minor is like Claude had his like civilian clothes, but then everyone else must have just like,
Just showed up
you know,
in their
still had all
military
their
attire.
their military briefs, their military clothes. No redesign. It just felt so strange. Yeah, it should not have been tacked on because it didn't earn it. Like if
Yeah,
if it was a true ending, then things should have like unfolded differently or had like more of a substantial thing, but it was literally just like a post-credit scene basically.
Yeah.
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 It was weird. And that's like unforgivable.
I
Unforgivable.
can't say I understand it. Yeah, and you have to fight the last boss again. Objectively, the worst mission in the game. You have to just do it again, but the enemies have higher stats. But
Yeah.
the only thing that's different is Kai can snipe into the tank to stop it from driving, which is so useless of a thing to do that I don't know why you would bother.
Right. Yeah, it was so strange. Like all that.
If you're using
really-
Lancers, maybe.
Either
Yeah.
way, like if
Then
you
you
just
needed
bring
to stop moving.
if you were to just bring your engineer to those two spots, which I didn't think was too much of an ask. You could do it in one turn, then it would
Yeah.
never leave that spot anyway. It would just keep driving back to the same spot. So, which I had done. So by the time I knew Kai could snipe into it, it was like, okay. The only difference in this mission then is that the enemies are paragons, not elites. So
Oh,
It's just more annoying. More
there's
annoying.
almost nothing happened. Yeah, it really didn't deserve to be placed like that, to be unlocked
Yeah.
like that.
Like at first I was kind of stoked because I was like, hell yeah, like someone else died in this crazy World War II scenario. Like really only 3 characters have died so far, like 3 named characters, and one of them is one of your random squad mates.
And one
And,
of
like-
them isn't in your squad.
And one of them isn't in your squad, yeah. And I
Yeah.
was like, cool, more casualties. That's how it should be, I guess, But then there were all these little hints. Like I looked at everyone's like log. Like I don't know if I would have even known.
yeah, not
about this
even
true
Waltz.
ending.
Not even Waltz died.
Oh my god! Don't even fucking.
Yeah, dude, he definitely should have died. That was that the most ridiculous scene in the game for me is when he comes up to Chromaria and he like lays down on the ground like he's dead now after he professes his love, and then he just stands up again with his eyes wide open and grabs that crystal.
Yeah, and
I
breaks
was
it with
laughing
his-
out loud.
That was
I
like
was
so
too,
dumb.
man. Oh my god, I was laughing so hard during that whole debacle.
Yeah, I forgot to even make notes about how dumb that whole segment is, because like, holy shit, dude! Like,
Smoldering
even-
flaming tank, and he's still alive. Oh my god.
and then like, once again, man, Minerva the whole time is chasing revenge for like her squad getting killed by that guy, and he even shows his face at the end, and she doesn't even get a word in. Like that's her whole motivation, the whole game. It like, if she bursts in like gonna set this nuke off, like pointing a fucking gun at her commanding officer, like, hey, blow this town up, let's end this war, I need revenge for all my fallen comrades or whatever. And then she sees the guy who killed all of her guys. It drives
Yeah.
away on his tank and like doesn't say shit.
Claude's
same tank
words
that
were so
destroyed
powerful. It just nullified all of her rage.
Yeah. I just thought it was just so
When
funny.
she saw
Like-
when she saw the handsome devil that did it,
yeah.
she
Squad
couldn't-
F entirely as a plot thread didn't like they talk about it so much. It's everything about Minerva is for Squad F, but the only ones that are ever named are her, Ronald, and Crystal. But
Yeah.
nothing ever happens that you see, even in the extra stories where you get to see more of Minerva and Crystal. It's so minor,
Yeah,
but they make it to be such a big deal. A lot of stuff in this game is talked about, but you're not shown a lot of it.
Yeah.
and then there's like there's like these character interactions. Like Aladdin likes Rita or something, but then they only get like minor benefits, right, from just being next to each other. It's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
Fire Emblem where they have their own like romance arc or anything.
There's some stuff like that in Squad Stories sometimes,
Squad
but
Stories.
it's not like as definitive or anything from what
It's
I've
not
seen.
like it's not like unlocked by like soldier interaction on the battlefield or anything.
Yeah, I thought
though.
that was
Like,
an interesting difference is that Fire Emblem makes you put a lot of work in to bring these characters together, whereas in Valkyria they're already written in a
they're
certain way.
scripted. Yeah, like
I-
Raz
you
has
know.
his little like disciple or whatever.
yeah, Zyga.
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 Yeah, there's I like both systems in some ways, and I dislike them both in some ways. You can't. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it a lot of the stuff, a lot of the like plot things that they try to make like super relevant and like crazy are just like
the
weak
weaker
as
aspects of the game, I think.
Yeah,
or
it's-
of the
it-
story.
yeah, because they go out of your way to like make you give a shit about
Like,
Like-
how Squad F died.
yeah. And I
And
thought,
Angie and Chromaria.
Angie and Chromaria and like Chromaria blowing up the other ships. And then like
And just anything
Like
with
Raz.
Chromaria.
sending fucking Raz to his death, and literally it was like
For
just so
4
funny.
guys.
It was a fucking net. It was a net. a net was stopping you guys.
Like an EMP net.
It was an EMP net, but it was a bunch of rope. It didn't look like anything threatening at all. Like, I was just thinking how funny it was that like there are blimps holding it. Just shoot the fucking blimps down and Raz don't have to go.
Like, literally, fun fact, there are only like 10 blimps left in the world because of the fact that it is so easy to bring down a whole blimp. You can just shoot a blimp and it'll collapse.
I mean,
so
I'm totally able to forgive that because this is, alternate reality. This is way in the past. They might not have that knowledge of all the things in the game. I didn't really care about the blimps because it still served for a good character moment.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just feels like
and then there's
it was
also
a great moment. Like, Raz should have died.
Yeah, it was cool, and it was just the only reason that it is cool is because you could tell that Raz is like one of the special characters because they actually forced him to die. Unlike everyone else who just gets a free pass for no reason.
Yeah, people who die end up cool. You live long enough to see yourself become the villain, Claude.
Yep.
You should have died, bitch.
Oh my god.
Send yourself out there with Raz. Yeah. No, I don't know. It was just like some of the stuff just seemed overly dramatic and just I don't know. It's just, it's a mind mush kind of mind mush.
Yeah, and especially the one thing that I really didn't like about the Raz suicide mission too is the fact that like just seeing Raz, and using Raz just going around and flamethrowing, torching like droves of those guys, like killing 3 guys at a time with one single like torch stroke. And then he just dies to literally like 4 guys guarding it. Like not even elite soldiers, just normal grunts guarding a little electric station.
It's Ludo narrative for you.
Yep. It just sounds like he just needed to go. The authors just needed to kill someone off.
They said
to make a statement. Time. Yeah, they had the whole thing set up. Of course, the only character who says he's invincible ends up like dead.
Yeah,
that tells you he's gonna die as soon as he says it.
Yeah. For like death flags raised. Yeah, he's open for it at that point. But
they even remove his invincible buff right before he dies.
He gets a better one.
It changes to the big damn hero.
He's more invincible when he has that shit on. He's amazing.
Even though it's better, it just doesn't even say invincible anymore. Like they're prepping him. They're prepping you for the idea of his death. Like, Raz is not invincible.
Now that's good Ludo narrative, I think.
Hero.
Yeah, I'm into that.
The potentials are great in the way that they illustrate the characterization better than the story he probably ever hopes to do.
Yeah, I guess that's what's kind of charming. Sometimes they do the little things right, like that. Some of the minor aspects they can really clean up on, but then it seems like in some other areas they put the cart before the horse, you know, and they're just trying to tell too grand of a story.
A little bit, yeah.
And they just don't quite have. I mean, people just aren't as invested in it as I think they expect us to be. Maybe. I mean, this game has a huge fan base, I'm sure, and like people love the Valkyria series and stuff, and it's good. It's a fun game to play, and it's
for sure.
Yeah, it's just like a unique style of game, and I really like playing it. It was pretty fun, and I don't know. I kind of took the whole plot pretty lightly, you know, just because. You can't really take something like this any more than I got face value, I think, to an extent. But
yeah, I thought those squad stories were like almost the highlights of any sort of like storytelling.
I agree.
Yeah.
They did.
I saw them all, and they were much better, almost universally. There's only a couple that I wasn't really into.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wish, like, I don't know, hopefully for the next game they try to like tone down the grandness of their narrative and just focus more on like character interactions.
That's the thing is the first Valkyria was much more of it was just kind of a romance story almost. It was it aimed to be more charming, and it was, even though it still had all of those anime tropes in it. And because I don't think any of us have really played the second game, and none of us have definitely touched the Japanese-only third game. So maybe as these games have come out, they've evolved, and they thought, these grittier things or or more down to earth, less charming. They kind of moved away from that,
Yeah.
and maybe that's just what's been selling them for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's weird is because it's like, from
Maybe-
what little I know about the series, it's like the second game is like charm to the max. It's like you're in high school with your boys, basically. Like
Yeah.
you're in a military academy. It's not serious,
The
really.
little I've played of that game, it is like that, and it's an actual sequel too. You know,
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the third game is supposed to be like kind of dark and gritty, but I have no idea like to what degree or if it really touches on anything that's like more serious. But I don't know. I
Yeah, so they might potentially take the franchise in a more fan servicey direction.
especially if
maybe.
you look at some of the extra content that's in this game,
Oh yeah.
like the DLC. It's fan service to they're unashamed of it.
just
It's
keep
so
that shit to the
much.
DLC. I'm fine with that. Like do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But-
Because the grittier, the more down to earth tones that they have in the game are good, but they're spoiled by what surrounds them.
Yeah, exactly. That's very aptly put. Like it doesn't, the weight of sending Raz to his death is like kind of lessened when he's like such a fucking
Not to me. Not that moment was still so good for me that everything else around it I tuned out. It was so good. I had when you have to choose someone to send to
Yeah.
their death, I had
Yeah.
my face clasped in my palms. I couldn't make that decision.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the better moments of the game, but it just, surrounding it, it's like overall just kind of like, it's a standout. It's the most powerful moment of the game for sure, but there's no competition really for that
Yeah.
in the game. Like it's not hard to have something like that be a standout, I guess, amongst the trash. The
But
mush.
the moment when Nicola blew herself up.
I was so into
to-
that too because I wanted it. I just wanted
Yeah.
them to die.
That was
Yeah. That was a
Yeah,
fitting
vanilla.
end.
cool. Vanilla.
Vanilla.
Herself.
Vanilla and Chicola.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I kind of had a lot of fun with like the squaddies and having little head cannons and stuff more than anything else in the game. Like they did such a good job compared to like VC1
Yeah,
with the squad
dude.
mates, because I think this game it's fixed, right? You get the same
Yeah.
squad mates all the time, so they're like
I'm pretty
actually
sure.
in some of the cutscenes and like they actually have a presence, even if it's really small. They do exist outside of just combat, which in Valkyria Chronicles 1 they didn't at all. It was just like
Yeah, it was just your main squad, and I didn't, I wasn't even really into a lot of the squad members in Valkyria 1 because it was just the Welkin and Alicia show.
yeah.
Yeah.
But this game, it was just cool. Like I really found myself getting attached to the random squad mates and like having my own little headcanons for
More
them,
squad
and then
stories,
having
that's
that
what they
stuff
needed.
explored more in the squad stories and stuff, and getting to see some development and interaction was really cool.
Yeah, I bet the modding community could really do some damage with the Valkyria, with like Valkyria 4. I bet they could take a lot of the stuff that we're saying and like probably implement that in some way. Just have better missions, better dialogue. It seems like Valkyria 4 could almost be released as like an engine or like a sandbox battle simulator.
That'd be cool.
And you
Yeah,
could just
that would
like
be cool.
stage stuff like that. Like it's what they really have, in my opinion, is like a really good like engine of a game. Like where
Yeah.
the gameplay
True.
is just really fun. It's unique. It's pretty unlike anything I've ever played. Like even like XCOM or Fire Emblem, other games that are somewhat similar don't exactly capture what this game has going on. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
But yeah.
that's very true. Like the combat in this game is awesome. Like just by itself, like the gameplay is just so fun, but it's just like bogged down with the weird like narrative things that they do. And
yeah.
to me, at least, I don't know.
Some modder could probably fix the story of VC4.
Fix the story. I don't know about
Like-
that.
Fix it up.
Like all the Skyrim modders, like how they fixed the Parthenax ending to Skyrim. just like some infamous quest line. They just wrote a better ending for it, and that's just now the real ending for the story in the game if you get that DLC. I wish they would do something like that for VC4. What if they just wrote a riveting story? And then it used all the same major cutscenes though. But then they had like, I don't know. They could make it so the meaning was differentiated or something somehow from what it is currently. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the modding community could really do a lot with this game.
Yeah,
They have a lot of. I just don't understand when you're doing the story. You can skip all of the story really easily. Is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no auto advance. That's really annoying.
Yeah,
for the text. But then they have these weird arbitrary rules about what is optional to see and what isn't. Like what they consider important to flesh out their story. Like you get to the Angie interlude. The first interlude's about Lena becoming Kai. Mm-hmm. And for some reason that's integral. That is mandatory. You must see that even though it's really kind of bullshit.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But then you get to Angie, who is almost arguably more important to the overall plot, and now they say you can skip this interlude. And then sometimes they have little tiny sub episodes that are optional, but so much of the other stuff isn't, even when it's just as much filler as this stuff that they let you skip.
Yeah.
And then
It's
the
really
post game, that Hot Springs one, what?
Yeah, fuck that.
God.
No.
Like it's so funny, but why is it mandatory for the true ending, and why is it not just in the game in the first place?
Yeah, that was so strange because it felt out of place. Because, yeah, I thought it was just some stupid fan service thing. Like, I bought the thing with all those renown points, and then it was like, I had no idea that it was going to link to the, like, true ending.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing...
You'd have to do that in order to see how Claude and Riley are going to get engaged.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Riley has to show her naked body to everybody in order for Claude to to realize that, oh wow, actually I do want to smash.
That should tell you everything you need to know about how fucked this game's
Yeah.
priorities are.
And
Yeah.
that just is so funny too, like how you were saying that this was just not supposed to be it doesn't feel like it was supposed to be a romance piece or anything, but then literally the secret ending, it's like some, it looks like it's in just some romance manga, like the way that a romance manga would end. Like literally they sketch out like Claude and Riley kissing like it's some fairy tale ending.
That's how the first game was. That's the intro cutscene to the first game is the same sketch thing of Welkin and Alicia like hugging.
Locking.
Oh my God.
That's just a staple, I guess, and they had to squeeze it into their story even though they already went a more down to earth direction with it. And I think that's where the problem is.
That's how anyone wants a war game to end. With romance
bloom on the
between a male
battlefield.
and a female soldier, 100%. You need to end it with it.
Yeah, VC1 felt earned because that did feel like the focus from the
whole
beginning.
game, was built around it.
Yeah, but
They
this game it
literally
just seems tacked
copied.
on as
They
hell.
literally just copied it. They copied their award-winning formula.
That is something that I think VC4 is, because what I've played of 2 and what I very little know of 3 is they were making different decisions with those games and going in different directions, and their sales went down. So VC4 was supposed to be a return to the first game. That's why it's so similar in a lot of ways. They were trying to capture the same audience.
Interesting.
It's all intentional. And that's why, even in our debate, we're like, this just kind of looks like the first game. The characters look like carbon copies. And they do that. They don't hide that at the start. And then they start to shift how everything plays out a little bit later to benefit and detriment.
Yeah.
You know what they should have done, which might have helped their sales out a little bit, is make the games not on PSP. I don't know. Maybe that's a little too radical of an idea, but why would they
that was
develop
probably the
games
biggest
for
issue with 2 and 3.
Oh my God! What? Hold on.
Two and 3
know.
were only on PSP,
Yeah.
and 3 was only
okay,
in Japan.
Gotcha.
Because
I
2
did hear
didn't
about
sell
3.
that well.
I did hear about 3 being on Japan
Yeah.
exclusive territory.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, but I don't know.
Those games had good ideas too. You know, they had reclassing. You could go down like class tech trees or something. I remember in the second game.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
so they've gone back on those ideas. And you know, that's another sign that they want this game to be a lot like the first Valkyria, a return to form with just a few improvements. And I think that it was a resounding success in that regard.
Yeah, yeah. They achieved, if that's what they were going for, they certainly achieved it. And they made certain advancements in a lot of the gameplay and the mission objectives and everything too. But please just double down on that story and iron out that story next time. Get something going on with that story for Valkyria Chronicles 5.
Yeah, hell, they could even continue the events of this, chapter of Valkyria, but then maybe add more like detail to these people already,
Well,
so that
I don't know, based on what happens post game and in the personnel tabs, they'd have to probably move on from these characters unless they really they'd probably
yeah,
pull
I
something
guess
out of
you're
their
right
assets
with
anime.
the post game. Oh, you guys got to go back to war after you got back.
And Claude was discharged.
I know it's part of the staple of this game now, this World War II thing, but I'm curious about seeing. I want to see what happens like in the future. Like how much more
Yeah,
can this?
that would be interesting.
Like I was thinking, all this weird Ragnite technology with the Valkyria powered things, like that could be really interesting if they just skip forward
To
Like,
Vietnam. To anime
anything.
Vietnam.
Just anime war, like future. Like they could just do some cool. There could be like the future seems really interesting. Like there could be some really cool, unique things that they could do, but they're kind of locked into just World War II all the time.
Yeah, they're so
And there's-
obsessed.
Doesn't
At
even
least
make
there's other
sense at
theaters.
this point.
I hope that there's other theaters because they've hinted at like the Japan-esque country
Oh,
in this one, and the Vinland, United States of Vinland, which I guess is supposed to be like America.
Yeah.
Like maybe there's gonna be some other like the desert theater or something. Like I just hope
Wow.
that they move away from this Gallia stuff. Like
Yeah,
I liked
it's
the ice.
always the retelling of the classic European conflict.
Yeah,
Nothing
the
else.
ice zones were cool. Like I liked that vibe of the nature and the
Yeah.
elements and the snow and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I just hope that they move away from like how many more stories can come out of this specific theater.
How much cooler would it have been to an extent, I guess, if they like toned down the like magic too, to an
Yeah.
extent, and
I
it
mean,
was
that's
just
such a
like a
thing.
Yeah,
true
that's-
war story in anime form.
It would be cool, but yeah, that's such a like. I mean, it's called Valkyria Chronicles.
Yeah,
You
they
gotta
already
have the
shot
Valkyries.
themselves in the foot with the first game because that's kind of where shit hits the fan is once they start really introducing that stuff too, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
anime gets cranked up to 11. Like once all the Valkyria stuff starts getting unveiled in 4 is when I start to snooze because it's
Yep.
Yeah.
just so uninteresting.
yeah.
Yeah.
It would be cool if they did, move away from it. But yeah, it's so tied into every aspect of the game that it's just there's no way.
Yeah, and then like all of your soldiers too, like all that the the developers have to do is make all of your normal little weak ass soldiers just go up against this mega strong Valkyria and just have her knock them over like a bunch of bowling pins. Like they just go and basically bully you and just force you to deal with these people that are really just overpowered because literally they're a magical, like super powerful creature.
Oh God.
Yeah, I don't think no one can actually. I've never seen someone stop a Valkyria in these games yet. In 1 and 4,
Yeah.
no one actually like is able to beat them. They just blow up Chromaria's crystal, and she just can't control her power. But they don't directly like kill her. They can't stop her.
Doesn't
And it was-
Solvaria blow herself up?
She blows
Like
herself
suicide
up
bomb?
in the first game. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, no one's been able to like stop.
they're
them. They are
overpowered as
gods.
fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
which is pretty interesting, I suppose, in a way
Yeah.
as well. So I guess it's kind of a criticism because I think that maybe they're just a straight up war piece would be more interesting, and they would be forced to rely more on like the drama of war and telling a war story. Because, like, that's the whole narrative. It's just, like, this big war story. But then
Yeah.
it just gets to be so ridiculous when it's, like, you're fighting these, like, Valkyrie spiritual beings. And you're
Yeah.
still trying to... And then you've still got Miles who's like, oh, let me take a picture of that. Like, he's the camera, World War II guy. There's always some trope of some guy in World War II who's got a camera. In like every movie or film adaptation, there's always one guy who's snapping photos of the whole
One
journey.
dude's got to be taking those selfies. You know what I mean? One dude.
Or how else would you get the intro screen?
How else would you have that? How else would you have that moment of quiet recollection post-war when they happen across the picture of their old squad and they go, those times.
Again, another just an absolute staple for a war piece, and they're trying, and they really try to focus on the war, but then it just like it gets to be so ridiculous when you try to be so serious about the war, and then there's also just these Valkyries running around just destroying the world.
And the dogs, they got the dogs running around. And
The dogs, yep.
it's hard to focus because they're so important and integral to the story, and they're around all the time.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I don't. I guess I wish. Yeah, it would be cool, but it's just like maybe we're barking up the wrong tree here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I think
that's what
yes.
we'd want. Of course, like it would be the coolest. Like a game with this gameplay, it can even be anime style. Like the art style, everything is just so perfect for this cool, like raw, awesome,
right.
horrible war story. But then it's just like, guess what? Anime power
Mind
levels.
mush.
Yeah. But other than that, like everything else is just so cool. The gameplay is just perfect. It would suit that story really well. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting, I don't know if we'll ever see it, but
A game that had infinite potential and just did a belly flop. Did a belly flop with writing the story at least.
yeah, you got Raida on those character designs. Well-known doujin artist designing all your crazy characters that you can sell. You can sell figures for millions of dollars, Salvaria figures. You got that lightning in a bottle captured. You got this you got this awesome gameplay style that hasn't been done by any other game. Completely unique. You got that lightning in a bottle. You got the guy who makes the music for Final Fantasy 12.
Wow.
Making the jams. You got him. You got put that lightning in the bottle. And then someone takes a bottle and they just spit in it. And they go, this is the story. This is the stupid story. Here you go. This is everything else.
It's like adding only seasonings to your dish.
Yeah.
And you have
They have all the best
this
seasonings.
all this cumin and this saffron and like chives, but then nothing to sink your teeth into.
Well, hey, they had I thought that one really minor but particularly good thing was just the swearing in the game.
Yeah.
Somehow came out right amidst all of that.
I agree. I think that's, soldiers got to be vulgar. Got to be vulgar soldiers,
That's true. Yeah,
It wasn't
I will
just an
say.
endless stream of saying bastard or like over the top with lots of saying fuck, the fuck
Damn
word.
you. Damn
Yeah,
you
there was
bastard.
none of that. It was like believable.
You imps.
I remember when Minerva got called a bitch by Raz, and I was like, okay, this game kind of like knows how to properly use cursing, and that's when I thought it was going to be believable all the way through.
Yeah. That is interesting because in Japan there's not quite expressive, like profanity.
Yeah, that was probably down to the
expletives.
translation team just
So
just
they really
filling in well.
So more props to them for getting that so accurately in the dialogue. Like, the dialogue was good sometimes.
Yeah.
Some lines were just not so good, or just like
Some
shoe-in
super
lines,
cheesy shit.
But
Like the dialogue sometimes could be good, but the writing was pretty much always bad, if that makes sense.
yep.
Like, but hey, I want to play the game, Cole. The game.
The game?
Let's play.
Oh, yeah.
Let's play the game before we move on. I want to talk. There's some more. We got to talk about more of the missions. We got.
There's more missions. There's more mechanics. I want to get
Yeah.
into the balance,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Let's get into that first little palate
shake it
cleanser.
off.
Fuck this story shit. Story's bad. Unanimous vote. All three of us
Yep.
hate it. Stupid dumb shit. Mind
Mind
Mush
Mush
Material.
confirmed.
Can we
I
all
don't. I don't
confirm?
hate it with the same level. I don't have that much passion to hating it, but I can't say that I'll remember it fondly.
Yeah,
How about
I
this?
definitely don't hate it, but I was not like blown away. In fact, I was face palming a lot of the story.
I didn't have the bar set very high, so I just coasted through it.
Yeah,
Yeah, was rolling my eyes. I knew right away that what it would be, and I was right, I guess. But Mind Mush Material, can we all confirm Mind Mush Material?
A little bit, yeah.
I'd confirm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got. Okay, cool. Fuck yeah. All right.
So we're gonna play a game. All right.
gonna play a
just
game.
to shake off the nerves. Although this is very serious, you're gonna have to steel yourself for this.
Okay.
We're gonna play 2 rounds, okay? And I like to call this game Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Oh god.
You ever heard of that?
Oh yeah, I've heard of FMK.
Holy shit.
So, round 1, we're gonna have 3 suitors, and you're gonna have to choose which one of them you would fuck, which one of them you would marry, and which one you would kill.
Ooh, okay.
Round 1, we're going with Kai, Riley, Minerva.
Dang. Let's see.
So go ahead, give it some thought, and let us know when you're ready. I think Jade has actually had time to think about this one.
Yeah, I think I know my answers for this one. Should I?
This
How-
yeah.
yeah.
If I guess I think I already know the answer as well.
Kiowa? You, by all means.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely kill Riley. That's probably a
yeah.
unanimous.
Brothers.
That's the easiest. Get the easy choices out of the way first. Then I think I would have to marry Kai.
Mm-hmm.
Yeesh. Okay.
Marry Kai.
Well, you lost me there, but
And I guess then the only remaining option then is to F Minerva.
F.
F Minerva.
Yeah, hold on. Real quick side note. Is playing this on podcast, is this kind of like misogynistic? Is this an okay game to play? Like, is this
Well,
is this bad?
just wait till you see the next round, and you'll change your tune.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
get canceled for this someday.
Yeah, I don't know
20
if
years
this is
from
fair.
now.
I don't know. I'm suddenly thinking about that. Is that?
Well, we're
But
all
the next round will be fun.
yeah.
Okay, Cole, is yours the exact same as Kiowa's?
It's so tough. Minerva in some ways needs to die. She needs to go be with Crystal, but
But then you don't want to have to be stuck with Riley in either other category.
yeah, so that's why it's tough. I think that I would probably just go with the same as Kiowa, though, ultimately.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, because Minerva, just listening to her talk to me at drill, at the
Yeah, I
fucking
wouldn't want to spend my
base
life
camp
with her,
all
but I'd
day.
spend a moment with it.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
She's got a
fellas.
real pair of lungs on her. That
Yeah, yeah. I would kill Riley, F Kai, and marry Minerva
really.
because in Kai's logbook thing it says she never gets over Raz. Do you want to play fucking second banana for your whole life? Never live up to her perception of Raz.
You're the one
like
filling
she'll-
this story out, dude. You're the one who's saying you're going to play it. Maybe you do.
It says it in her thing that she never gets over Raz, dude. She
Yeah,
never gets
but
over it.
did it account for us showing up? I don't know.
Well, who are we in the context
are-
of the story?
We outlived Raz. That's an important fact.
I never thought that I would ever get over Raz until I met Jade.
Yeah,
I forgot
guess
about Raz almost instantly.
that's the cool thing is because I'm effing her and I'm moving on. So she'll get over Raz and then she'll be pining for me, but it'll never happen because I'll marry Minerva. And hear me out, okay? Minerva's mean. I get it. She's a yeller. She's a screamer. But but I picture her mellowing out post-war,
Oh, okay.
you know? I have sort of a headcanon, built up. She's chill sometimes. Sometimes she's chill. Okay.
And she doesn't have a
Even
gun
though her-
pointed in your face.
Even though
Yeah.
her entry says she stays in the military,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you think after that.
Yeah, I think after that I'm playing the long game with Minerva. 'cause,
Okay, okay.
Rida slapped on that design. Rida knew what he was doing when he designed Minerva.
Minerva, one of the most powerful scouts.
That's why she's got more animations than any other character.
Yeah. One of my favorite scouts, Minerva.
the most powerful base game scout.
The most powerful base game animations.
Yeah, that's very true, especially if you get that swimsuit.
Minerva pushing up her glasses. That's it. We're done. Okay, let's go round 2. This is the fucked up one.
Yeah, this one will display your character much more.
Whoa, okay.
This displays, it's a peek into your soul, how
Yeah.
you choose to answer this one.
Okay.
Round 2, we're going to do Marie, Loof, and Strawberry Andre.
The mechanic of the ship.
This one, I didn't give any thought to this.
Okay, what are the choices? What are the choices again?
Marie, she is the drill sergeant on the Centurion.
Oh, yep.
Loof, she's the Darkson radar operator. I think she's a Darkson, right?
Yeah.
And Strawberry Andre, the mechanic.
They're all working on the ship.
They're all on the ship.
The 2 deck girls or the engineer and the engineer.
Okay. Okay. My only this is the only thing.
This one's
It's-
impossible.
This one's tough to do. I'll go ahead and I'll say F Strawberry Andre.
Whoa!
Because he's working so hard down there. The guy needs
Yeah.
a break. Needs to blow off some steam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true.
Marry the radar operator.
Loof.
Ooh, fuck yeah.
Loof. And
Yeah.
and then my hands would be shaking as I had to pull the trigger to kill the drill sergeant.
Marie. Oh, poor Marie.
Yeah, she's they're all cute in their own ways.
They're
all
all
3 of
good.
these characters.
Yeah, Andre just is like underrated.
I love He's a fan
very
favorite.
popular in my book. He's the best engineer in the game.
He's all right. I'll agree with that.
Yeah,
He's playable too.
Oh, okay, playable engineer.
Yeah, so he is actually the best engineer.
He's not only conceptually the best, but also mechanically the best.
Yes, exactly. Do you want to save the best for last, Jay? Do you want to go last?
Best
I think
for
I have
last?
my answer. Yeah, you've thought about this probably more than anyone. You've been thinking about the sleepless nights.
I gotta come clean. I haven't come up with a straight up answer yet. but
Okay,
yeah,
so
go ahead.
I'm gonna go. This one is extremely difficult. I researched the lore, the backstories of these characters for weeks as well, trying to figure it out. Loof is only 18, I'm pretty sure. She's young. Marie,
Wow.
age undisclosed. She had a previous lover. She carries memento of him. I think
Whoa.
I'd have to kill Marie so she could be with her lover.
Yeah.
It's just I would also be shaking to pull the trigger, but
all roads
You
lead
grant
to,
her peace.
I grant
I
her
grant
peace.
you
I can't
peace.
kill the others. She's the only one.
all rivers flow to the same ocean.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay,
and
that
then I
maybe
think
makes
what
nothing.
makes your decisions easier. The other two though. I think I have to flip Kiowa. I have to marry
Whoa.
Andre because he's such a solid man. He would
Yeah.
provide. He'd be a breadwinner in my.
He would
my
provide
life.
his engineering. He
He's
could build
super
you
he's
a
a provider.
nuclear.
so cool.
He could build
He's
you
so
a
cool.
nuclear tugboat.
And you could
just
live
an
on it
honest,
together.
hardworking man. And then I'd fuck Loof.
Dude.
She's young and in her prime, and she's a good girl. But I don't want to be with her all the time because she is a talker.
She's a dark one. And you're a racist.
Nope, no, the
motherfucker.
Darkson thing has
Piece
nothing
of
to do
shit.
with it.
That it showed your true colors. You're shit.
When I asked, she's a Darkson, right? Like I didn't even remember.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, okay, so I guess, I mean, I would have to fuck Andre too then. I would fuck Strawberry Andre. I would certainly marry Loof because
Yes.
I think her little story thing, like reading her little thing in the log was cute, that she like wanted to be friends with everyone was just too like,
She's
didn't know.
Vulgar. Yeah.
Yeah, she was cool. I want to, I'd help her open up, we'd be married and live a happy life together. And meanwhile, my hands are forced. Yeah, you just got to put Marie down.
No one wants
sucks.
to marry.
She's such a good.
No one
she's
wants
a good.
to marry
I want to
the-
marry her, but
No
Yeah.
one wants to
I
marry
can't
the
leave
drill
on
sergeant.
Strawberry Andre hanging like that.
Dude, you can't
Or I
kill
guess-
Loof and you can't kill Strawberry Andre, but Marie is like the most killable. She's the most
she's
killable.
the most killable.
Yeah.
She had a lover before. It's not right.
She can't keep going without that lover, She should have been dead a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But oh well.
Hey, thanks everyone for
Yeah.
playing. I'm glad that we were able to discern.
Tough
FMK.
questions.
I'm really glad.
Definitely
I'm
tough
really glad that no
questions.
one was a simp and killed Andre because he doesn't deserve to be killed.
He almost died once.
Oh,
Yeah.
he
Never
fought to
again.
the end. Speaking of that moment, there's one little elephant in the room that we really haven't addressed. So
There's a
far.
lot. There's a lot of
Yeah, there are some elephants.
There's a lot of elephants, but how about that whole Forsetti guy?
Ugh, I don't want to talk about him. He sucks. He's the
All
worst.
right, yeah, let's not talk about
He
him.
sucks and is the worst. Yeah.
Let's
Oh,
not
yeah.
talk about him.
Yeah, let's not talk.
Well,
fuck him.
We could state
Let's not
the
talk about
obvious. He sucks. Next.
He is the
He
real
sucks.
Kai.
He's
He's the
weak.
real Kai.
He's
right?
a weak villain, just like Belgar. There's no compelling villains in the game. There's
I
no.
hate, as a scientist, I'm personally offended by Belgar as a villain. Like
Why?
he's somehow like a science guy, and
Yeah.
he's just like, but he doesn't fight you back with like a science means. He fights you back with just a big tank,
So why does he need the Valkyria power source if he has his own ship that can run without that, and also a
It's
huge
not even
fucking
worth
tank?
thinking. It's not even worth thinking about. But he has some fetish for Riley's dad and his
Yeah.
research.
Oh, okay. Nice. He
I'm
would
pretty.
marry
That's
Riley's
my
dad.
headcanon. Yeah, and I think nothing. Everything about Riley and the Valkyria research and stuff. I just don't. I don't
Yeah.
get it. It doesn't sell me. She's 21, I think, in the game, but she had previously completed this insane research that had revolutionized the way that people are able to compress Ragnite. That's the
Yeah.
whole reason the grenades exist, I think. The whole class is because of her research. What?
Wow.
How does that make any sense? And the bombs, the Valkyria bombs, the Centurion. Thank you, Riley. You are a genius,
Thanks, Riley.
I guess.
Good job.
and
Good work.
Ragnite compression was also what made those ships run too.
Yeah, that was
And
how you were able to utilize Angie.
think about that. Imagine if they basically, so essentially that would have been like if, Thomas Edison was drafted to World War II.
And then he sewed his own skirts, too.
Yeah, and he
then-
was allowed to like customize his outfit because they're like, "Oh, you're a really smart dude, and you can design all this stuff. So we'll let you just kind of go with what you want."
You don't have to wear like an official uniform or anything. We figure that you'll probably have your own like kind of super suit that you'll invent for yourself anyways to wear.
Yeah.
And then it's really just like some leggings. Some thermal
skirt.
leggings and a skirt.
Thermal legging. Not even thermal, just thin.
Minerva has the Zetai Ryoiki, the
Yeah.
absolute territory where she has just like thigh high socks on,
Yep.
and then like a skirt, and it's like, dude,
In the
you're,
middle of winter.
That's,
you're
her
crawling
f-
around in the snow,
that's her official military uniform.
and then she pushes her glasses up, and then I go, nah, that's okay, it's forgivable. Okay, so we got to talk about the elephant in the room.
Yep.
The
There's
ship.
another one.
The ship. The
Yeah.
ship girl.
What do you guys think about that ship and the mechanics with that ship that, it offered you a couple more strategic options using
So,
ship commands?
a layered question. It adds a lot, I think, to the depth of the game. But the ship specifically, ship orders were underutilized because it's unavailable like well over half of the missions in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unavailable whenever I wanted it. And I felt like any time that I remembered that I could use them, I was either out of range of where I wanted to use it, or it was unavailable for me to use in the mission. So I just like forgot about it like 90% of the time.
It reminds me of something we were talking about in an earlier podcast about Hades and how they gave you those special like trinkets at the companions at the very
companions.
like end of the game. Essentially, it's the same concept where if you don't start the game with something at your disposal, and it's supposed to be like a primary mechanic of your like day-to-day operations, but they don't give it to you at the beginning, then you're just not going to use it. Like
It's like halfway into the game
used.
that you
Yeah.
get these.
Yeah.
And then you have to they suck ass right away at the start, so you have to research them, so you're less likely to use them right away anyways, and then they're not available like so many missions.
Yeah.
For like the entire last part of the game when you would need it the most too, right?
Yeah, the last two missions, chapter 18, you can't use it at all.
Wow.
Yeah. That was,
You know, if you do skirmishes and stuff, when you really start to explore a lot of the tactical depth of this game, you know, and there's even skirmishes you can't use it and it's stupid, but when you can use it, it does open up more strategies, and in that way it's good.
Mm-hmm.
But they just didn't utilize it enough. They didn't allow you to utilize it enough.
Yeah. Like it's crazy. It just seems like they threw like another additional mechanic in that was just pretty much not even necessary. Just trying to like adding more seasonings. More seasonings to their dish. But no sustenance.
A slice of ham. A single thin, watery slice of ham.
How about I got something?
Okay.
Why would a girl want to be a battery?
For no reason.
Because
Why would
she signed a waiver.
What kind of little girl would sign up to be a battery for a ship?
That's the whole point. She's a little girl, so she doesn't get it. She's too naive to even remotely understand.
Yeah.
They told her family would be
the age of consent.
She's 12. They said your family will be better if you sign this paper, and now your life is bound to us. Okay.
Claude, you idiot! Don't you see? She signed a waiver.
They imply that she like understands the depth of what she's done, and like that she will be killing people, and it will maybe provide a better future for the entire Federation. But I don't buy it.
Because she's actually like a Valkyrie, right? She's just charged with the Valkyrie energy. She's just a full Valkyrie.
She's a straight up Valkyria.
Okay.
Then they just installed a little power outlet in her and plug her in.
And there was one in every single ship.
Yep. We never see the other ones though.
Yeah, like, well, remember when the other ship, was it the Cavalier? Did that one, when it detonated, it had that massive explosion because it detonated.
You never see the actual Valkyria itself, but the explosion was
That was
from
A2
that
bomb.
Valkyria. Yeah.
that was AA2 bomb. Unless it was called
AA2.
something else because there was a different named little tiny baby girl in there.
That was the B4 bomb. Beatrice. Rest her soul.
But yeah, it's probably another play on the atom bomb, and that's why it's A2. Because it's mostly meant to just pressure the Empire.
It would have been, it might have been A1, but that's actually a steak sauce.
That's
So-
too much season.
I'm sure that's why. I'm sure that's exactly why they didn't name it that.
Let's talk about that balance. I was going to ask about the post game, Cole, because I didn't play around too much with the post game.
Yeah.
What's all that all about? I learned Andre's a playable boy. You could play as Andre, Strawberry Andre, in the field.
You can play as more than Strawberry Andre, let me tell you.
Oh my god, dude, yeah. You would not
you got a
believe
peek,
the
I
things
think.
Cole has showed me, yeah. It's unreal.
This game, before I even start talking about balance, I want to say that this game has, when you include the post game, and you don't necessarily have to include the DLC, but considering that's part of the package now, it would be fair either way, I think. But it's like this game gives me a bit of nostalgia towards games in the past, previous decades, that came with so much content that you could play at your leisure, where you'd have unlockable characters and skins that were in the game that you didn't have to pay for. Why does that seem so foreign now?
Yeah.
And Valkyria really scratched that itch by letting you play all these wacky motherfuckers and do all these weird missions. I don't know.
True.
It was just a really interesting feeling, because when you beat the game and you unlock the post game, you get that cenotaph. You can bring back Crystal first and foremost, which is just a funny thing that you could do because you never had access to her. And she gets her own squad story with Minerva. And you can buy back whoever you sent to get killed with Raz. And strangely, you have to do these hard skirmishes, which are fun ways to play some of the older maps. Like, I like the urban warfare in Valkyria, where it's tight corridors and it's like squeezing your tank through, but they don't have a lot of maps. So that one with the searchlights, I don't know if you guys like that mission that much, but I really liked it and I wanted to play it again. And you can do that with these hard skirmishes.
Nice.
Yeah, that is interesting. That level was pretty interesting. I took an interesting approach, and I wonder if I would have done things differently if it would have been a better experience. But I had a weird time with that mission for some reason.
And luckily you can just replay the missions too. That was another difference from VC1. You had to beat that entire game before you could redo missions.
Real?
Whoa.
So if you didn't get A ranks, which also were harder to get in that game, you'd have to beat the whole game and come back around to do it again. But in this one, you could just do it right away. You could farm, more options. But they lock a lot of the content in the post game behind doing these hard skirmishes, which is another weird. There's no relevant reason as to why you beat them.
Yeah.
But then you do, and suddenly, hey, there's a new interlude where you can see Raz smoking a cig. Way earlier in the game for whatever reason, smoking a cigarette, talking to Angie about how her dad smelled like smoke. Boom, you can buy Raz back from the death.
What?
He's back, baby. He's a big damn hero.
He's fine. He's okay.
Wow.
He lived.
You can bring him back from the dead.
He pops up and he's like, "Guess who? I lived, bitch." Oh yeah.
He said, I think he says something like, "Told you I was invincible."
Wow.
That got a laugh out of me. You can get Loof. You can get her as a Grenadier.
What?
Holy
She's best
smokes.
class too.
She's best class. You can get Strawberry Andre as an engineer. You can get Brian as a scout.
Whoa.
There's cool weapons and cool characters, and of course, can't forget that you can complete that DLC episode to unlock Selvaria and Chimera at full power.
That's pretty
As
insane.
a member of your squad.
Plus Kiara and Nicola.
Plus Vanilla and Chocola.
Plus Vanilla and Chocola. All of that, dude. Every time I unlocked something new, I just was blown away. Couldn't believe all the cool goodies that they had just lined up for anyone who wanted to just keep playing the game. There was more and more and more.
That's cool. That's really cool.
I'm very surprised at all of the additional content that they have post game. It's really crazy. Not a lot of people do stuff like that now.
And the infirmary too. The infirmary where you can spend. The renown thing is a little weird, but you can roll more weapons if you want. Unlock, increase the level cap and stuff. Get more R&D. That's not the greatest stuff in the world, but it's a cool thing that you can farm for in the post game if you were so inclined.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't find myself compelled to want to play more for sure, but it's fucking cool that I have all that stuff just sitting there ripe for the plucking. I had no idea that you could unlock all that cool shit. I just thought it was just more missions.
There's no indication. It's just, it's sort of a reward for extra dedication, which I think is what that sort of stuff should be. Rather than if they let you pay money to unlock
just right up front
the Navy characters
out of it.
Character DLC, Navy character DLC set.
And that's kind of what Selvaria and stuff was, but it's in the game. It's included with the base game now, so it's not. You can't really argue that anymore. And she's busted as hell. So if you didn't even want to play the game fairly anymore, you can break it. They don't give you toys to break games anymore either. They do
Yeah.
everything they can to take them out, even in single player.
Wow. I wish, of all the things that I wish Valkyria would have added, is just like that sort of sandbox battle mode. Sandbox battle
it'd be
editor.
cool to craft your own missions or whatever, because that's kind of
Yeah, craft your own missions would be excellent, or if they had some sort of like random, encounter generator that you could do and like set challenge, criteria, and it would just generate you something. And it could also give you some sort of reward for it too, like rare items. They could just like easily facilitate some like end game content, some reason to want to come back and keep playing after.
Yeah.
You beat the main story and, you did everything.
I mean, I felt, it was intrinsically rewarding enough to play this game and just do all of the missions even when there wasn't a reward, because, every mission is kind of like a puzzle where there's a lot of different solutions, and getting there was a lot of fun.
Yeah, right at the beginning of the game, I was doing lots of scrimmages and like lots of squad stories and stuff. But then when I was getting closer towards the end of the game, I felt more like I was just trying to like advance the main story more and more, and I just felt like everything.
Even
else
though
was
you
just
knew the story was bad, man, that's how you fell into that pitfall.
Yep, exactly.
I think that's part of why I didn't want to play either. It's not because I just think that like the sort of, it didn't feel like it was worth putting more time into. Like the story and shit was just like long and kind of drawn out. Just felt like it just didn't feel like, if I was to keep playing, I don't feel like my time would be worth what I would get out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just how it presented itself, I guess.
You might
Well,
want
which
to take
part?
a look at. You might want to
Oh.
take a look at Minerva's swimsuit before you say that.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
was, if the gameplay is fun, is that fun, what's fun about it to a person? And yeah, I mean, I get it. Some of the missions can take a long time. I think the pacing of the story didn't help with how long the runtime of this game is. Bringing you back to the book after all these little cutscenes, it just feels off.
Yeah, the book, I was going to ask about the book. I felt like it was a minor thing, but I felt like it was really jarring at the same time.
I think it hurts the pacing of
Yeah.
the game and makes it feel longer than it is, and it ties in with all those, where do they draw the line on what's optional and what's mandatory to progress through their main plot that they've crafted.
Yeah, I don't know. Some weird choices.
I mean, once you really going into the balance maybe, and the fun stuff that you can do with the game, when Kiowa and Nicola, Vanilla and Chocola, I thought were really.
I was
always
amping up
thought
to correct you.
they're always fun to deal with, I thought, because there are so many strategies to how you can deal with enemies in the game, and they're at least fair in that they play mostly like they're closer to how you play the game than how the AI actually plays the game most of the time. They take multiple turns, they do orders, and they're powerful.
Yeah, way more fair of a fight than Klaus. Klaus
Yeah,
Waltz,
exactly.
where he could just drive to you and like accidentally clip onto a corner, an invisible wall or something,
and to erase your team.
just erase your whole team.
But even then you can deal with them. You just drive someone, but they're scouts, so their vision is almost all encompassing. So you just point them the other way, bring a shock trooper up behind them, and shoot them in the head, and they're down. Like it's what.
And then they come back in a turn.
Only
In
3
Mission
times.
17, yeah.
Only
oh,
3
is
times.
it really? In Mission 17, she comes 3 times?
And also you can drop the bridge on top of their heads and kill them instantly.
Oh, cool.
See, there is cool, wacky shit you can do if you explore the game. They have orders. Orders are always weird because you don't need to use them at all, and when you do, they just break the game in just
orders are
entertaining
insane.
ways.
Yeah.
That's where I found my fun with the game, is just trying to break these missions, trying to get them like A rank the first go without knowing what's going on. Mm-hmm. Because, that's another half of the fun, is you go into the mission not knowing what to do, and it kind of fucks you over a lot. But then once you do know what to do, it's too easy to plan for.
Yeah, that's true. I gotta say, I think the most fun that I had playing the game was when I think it was when I was totally out of my element and things were just so stacked against me. Like I know you guys hate Mission 15, but I fucking love the Mission 15 is so funny.
I have a story about it to explain why I hate it, but
okay, yeah. I thought, you're stuck smack dab in the middle between a rock and a hard place and they're both coming at you and you would just like you're at a mad dash to like kill Waltz as fast as possible. And it's just like the funniest, like that was when I just realized like, okay, my guys are just gonna die. I'm just gonna like it was just so funny. Like I was just sitting there, all these thoughts and strategies running through my head like I didn't know what to do. But it was just the most fun ever. And then 17 I really liked too, actually. I really thought
thank goodness. Yeah, I love that
liked Mission
Yeah.
17. Yeah. Mission 17 was like kind of fun in like a fucked up way.
I like the second mission a lot. I like that second one where you just had to run from which one was it again?
From Vanilla.
Yeah,
You're
when you were
inside the
in the
Centurion.
ship. Yeah, run from
Vanilla.
Vanilla.
Yeah, I liked that too. But I liked the first half when it's like you start off and just the enemies are going first and they get a whole turn to just like fucking soften
Yeah,
you up.
dude. Oh my
And you're
God.
like, oh shit. And I think that's when I had the most fun with the game is just when it's when it's like hardest and most unfair in a way. When
Yeah.
it's just like
because
like
most of the
fucking-
time the AI doesn't put up a threat. They
No,
don't play
yeah.
the way you do. They don't strategize.
yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, the only thing I hated about Mission 17 was just how like far like those two Chocola could run. Like
yeah,
She's
dude.
a scout.
she-
She has the same. She has the same AP as a scout.
she has the exact same AP. Are you
You
sure?
look at her in the unit list. She
I
is
know,
a
but
scout.
she's given okay. So she has her same exact stats. It's not like modified boss stats at all.
I don't think her AP is. I couldn't tell you with
'Cause-
100% certainty, but I'm pretty sure.
Because it seemed like she could just sprint.
But she's
fucking
got way
up
more
and
armor
down.
and stuff.
That's kind of
yeah.
how scouts
Okay, so
were,
they-
though,
they-
too.
Yeah, I guess, but it just felt like in the mission when you're supposed to hold down all these forts at once, and then she can just run and just instantly like that was the only part I didn't like.
She only ever took like 2 turns, but yeah, she could run far. She could cap. She was just so powerful.
Yeah, I liked dealing with her pokes and all of her shit. It was funny when I realized like I don't have to kill her. I just have to like survive as long as possible. Like that's when it was the funnest. Like the most fun. The game was the most fun to me.
Yeah, and I remember you blowing up the bridge to give yourself breathing room. Like, yeah, that cool stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting terrain and strategies.
Yeah. What was it? I was trying to think of another time I blew some object up, and I think I might have been Dan. And I blew up like a boulder, and it was like my last CP or something like that. I blew up like a big snow thing.
Yeah.
And then it was just a fucking heavy tank behind it, and I was
Oh
like,
my
uh-oh.
God.
Goodbye,
Like
Dan.
those moments are good. I don't know.
Yeah, they love to just drop a tank on you right around the corner. I remember
Yeah.
even one level, I don't remember what specific level it was, but there was like a godly tank, like right
was-
at the very end of the level.
Oh, the
And
Raz
it was
mission.
just like would gun you down as you just went past
The
it.
Raz mission where you can't see ahead of you and it looks
Yeah.
clear to go.
Did you die to that too?
I didn't die to that. No,
Okay, we all died.
I almost died to it though. Holy smokes! that
I
thing
died,
was
but I had a save.
I said, I'm just going to run in. I don't know what's in there, but I'm going to make a bad dash. And then I got fucking killed instantly by that tank. So funny. I was thinking, I think that one mission in that town when the tank like bursts out of the wall, fuck that. I didn't like that mission. That mission was dumb.
Take first out of the wall.
I actually was able to destroy that barricade before, and there's like this Ragnite barrel right next to that tank.
Oh, that
and
one.
you can
Yeah.
just
I-
shoot
not-
that thing.
Not in a... Oh, yeah, okay. So you could see into the building. Because this is the
Yeah.
one when it's like the resistance or whatever are trying to
Yeah.
capture that guy. Or no,
Yeah,
they
That
try
was
to free
kind
the
of an
guy.
interesting mission too. That was honestly like the first mission I had an actual struggle with.
I thought
Yeah.
that was just a weird kind of nothing mission where they didn't
Yeah.
advance the plot. They just spent time on it.
Yeah, it was a total aside thing. It was a weird, just totally side story, but it was actually like kind of difficult for me. Like,
Yeah, I had a
Yeah,
tough
that was
time
a
with
hard
that
one.
too.
and then the sniper. That was when that sniper.
The sniper
Yeah,
shot the
the
fucking
medic
medic,
sniper.
dude. God, fuck that guy.
They needed more cool, just like intermission stuff that really played with
Yeah.
your expectations.
Exactly. That was such a shock when she got fucking shot, and I was like, "Whoa, what is happening?" Like, yeah, if they had more stuff like that to spice it up, and then you find the guy and he's named like the medic killer,
The medic killer.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm killing this guy. I'm
That
the
mission
medic
was
killer.
funny because I also drove up to the wall and then I went into the tactical mode and I could see the blue glow of the Ragnite thing, so I just shot a mortar shell over it. I couldn't see back there, but I shot and it blew up, and I never had to deal with the tank. I just killed him instantly.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know if there's like cutscenes or something with it. Who knows? Skip
There
it.
is I think I like had to reload, and then I didn't blow that thing up, and then the tank burst out, and it was like, it's a big cutscene.
Yeah, you can miss stuff depending on how you play it. Like if you don't deploy the main characters and there's interactions with them in the mission, I think they just don't happen. Or if they're like
that's
dead
cool.
when it happens.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah, but I guess you wouldn't know about it unless you had redone a mission or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then at that
Overlooked.
point, it's kind of like the final mission hard mode when it's like, was this a thing that I could do in the first one? Don't remember. Don't care.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Valkyria Chronicles 4, huh? Just it's got I don't know. I wasn't so thrilled about certain aspects of it, like the story and everything, but just like the gameplay and kind of what they offer, and just like some of the character interactions are really good as well, and overall I liked it. I had fun playing it too. So, but yeah, like you said though earlier, Jade, too, I also feel like there's currently not a huge amount of reason for me to continue playing. You know, I guess unless they added some really awesome, scrimmage, constant random like generated encounters or something, some reason for you to like keep wanting to advance and like prune your troops. And the story is like pretty long itself too, and that's always seems like the best like thing to throw like all of your attention at, like trying to develop your soldiers and all of your weapons and everything so you can like beat these guys with greater ease, and they're expected to just keep getting harder too. But then
What if I told you that was in the game?
oh, that's still in the game?
What if I told you there's a mission where everyone dies in like one bullet?
Wow, that does sound pretty cool. So there are like
There's
so there are some
there's stuff in the
challenge
game,
modes.
but you gotta play to see it.
Yeah, that's true.
What is this? What is this? one
There are
bullet?
challenge. There's a map where you battle. That Battle of Siegfall,
Yeah.
where initially it's a pretty big map, but there's enemies everywhere on this challenge version, and I think it's called like a true battle or something, and everybody on both sides gets killed by like one bullet. A sniper can shoot someone who's behind cover in the body, and it will just kill them. Tanks blow
What
up in
about
one Lancer shell from the front.
Interception fire.
Interception fire annihilates you instantly. You have to play insanely
gosh.
carefully.
Whoa.
Wow, you have to like play almost defensively in that case. That sounds actually really cool.
They all, most of the enemies don't move. It's kind of a puzzle of how do you advance through the map to the end while not taking any interception fire, and everything can kill you instantly. You know, like it's a remix sort of challenge. I think there's only one in the game, but the challenge skirmishes, the hard skirmishes, they are tough. They require
cool.
different strats.
Yeah, that does sound really cool, actually. Yeah, I wish I would have known about that. That sounds definitely worth checking out post game.
Yeah, but how much do you have to play to get there?
I don't remember if that's in a DLC chapter or not. Maybe you have to go through the hard skirmishes first. But they do require you to put in a little effort to get towards some of these later unlocks. Whether it's worth it, that's up to you.
Interesting.
I want to talk quick before I forget.
Yeah.
There are just touching on the fact that this game has a lot of really weird, arbitrary. Like, it's cool that the medic gets shot at in that one mission, and it plays with your expectations of what you're capable of doing. You know, like you can't get your teammates up.
Yeah.
But there's just as many things that play with your expectations in a bad way. And it's that, you know, when you don't know about it going into the mission, it's just an annoyance or it just screws you over, and it's arbitrary. It's video game stuff. Like when you go into the snow mission with the avalanches and you cross an invisible line, and now the avalanche happens and it crushes everything under it the next turn. Like, you could stop inches. I know that I watched Jade playing a mission where he stopped inches before this cutscene trigger where something would happen, but he just never crossed it, so it never happened.
Wow, yeah.
And it, you know, it just makes the mission is shaped behind these little things that you do instead of like naturally occurring.
That's interesting. Yeah. Like, are you talking about the mission with like Sylvaria, where if you cross that line, she'll like start blasting you from infinite range?
Chromaria, yeah, that's another instance of it where Chromaria and Waltz don't like show up until you walk over this specific spot, but you can run around the map and like clear it using snipers and Grenadiers and stuff, but nothing changes till you do this one thing this one way.
Wow.
Yeah, that seems kind of like stringent. It should definitely try to be more like free form with it, but I don't know what that would mean. Would that mean being based on turn or round order?
Yeah, because they have, you know, they have missions with weather, like the whiteout, where it says at the start, you know, every other turn this is going to happen, or you can discern on the map. Maybe they should explain more things that are on the map, like those yellow areas, but, you know, why can't the avalanche be indicated on the map early? I don't think it really is, unless you're really keen and like look directly at the, like, oh, there's a little extra space on the map over here for the snow that like would stick out, but otherwise how do you know? And you don't know where this, you know, it's just an arbitrary video game trigger for this event, and it's not based on the avalanche coming down because of noise or anything you make. You just walk over there.
Yeah, that is pretty lame. It should be based on like noise and firing tank shells and stuff like that. Then
oh my gosh,
you know, because they do point that out, don't they?
Yeah, and they could so easily make a lot of stuff out to be like that. Like, they could give it all like a legitimate explanation, but a lot of the time it feels like they just don't take the time to, you know, set the scene quite properly.
Yeah, there's a lot of missions with things like that, and so it sounds minor at a glance, but it was kind of frustrating when that stuff would happen, and it totally alters everything that's happening, but not in like a fun, entertaining way. It's like, oh, I should have just not moved forward another inch or something.
Oh, especially if that catches you at the end of one of your turns.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's unforgivable. They need to, that should be, you know, spelled out, especially if it's like a game-changing thing. Especially the cover, like all the map stuff. Because in those last couple missions where it's like, there's just little marks on the map for like crevices, and I'm like, is it okay to like go on these or go in here? Like, there's just stuff that's not ever explained.
Yeah, they explain some things, and not, okay. Mission 15 for me. Let me walk you guys through this. In that mission, when you're doing mission 15 part 1, I think only. Any other skirmishes, 15-2, it isn't this way, but in 15-1 there are like ice things blocking all of these holes on the map that are covered by this red line. So you see it right away, right? Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, my first thought, they're not marked on the map like destructible hazards, and you can't target them like they're destructible hazards.
Yeah.
And I thought they're ice, so I used a flamethrower on them for some reason, and that didn't work either.
Oh, yes. I know exactly what you're talking about now. Yeah,
but you can grenade them. You can grenade them to blow them up and open them, and they're cover. But they don't tell you that I know of.
I thought that because they were ice. I thought that because they were ice crystals, they, you know, after trying to flamethrower them and they didn't melt, because literally they were in the game the next level after I unlocked the flamethrower. So I thought it was like a direct, like, oh, if you unlock these at a certain point, then you can access certain areas of the map. But no, apparently you just had to use a different weapon
just
that you
fucking
had
grenade them.
the whole
Your
time.
grenade can usually target that stuff too, or it shows on the map, but in this one instance it doesn't. And I remember that was the mission where Waltz, for me, killed 6 of my guys in one single move. One drive of his
my
tank
God.
killed 6 of my guys, and I lost all my hope because I'm like, there's nowhere to hide from him in Crimmeria. So I said, what I'll do now is I'll take the Hoffen and I'm just gonna shoot at the Vulcan until I die. And I did that, and I killed him in 2 turns somehow and got an A rank, and it felt awful.
Oh my god.
I just didn't play the mission right, and I still won.
And you still got a good rate.
And that's when Valkyria goes wrong, is when you can abuse things and just win with no effort. And, you have to be creative to have fun, I think, in this game. It's really a make-your-own-fun sort of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing that is interesting. I mean, that's that one mission you mentioned, the Siegfall Line True Battle one, is cool as hell. But I was just thinking, like, oh, all these hard skirmishes, can't I just run and capture the point? That's like the main thing is, just get to the point as fast as you can and capture it. It's like, I didn't think there'd be a lot of variation between objectives.
Even in the skirmishes, there's more than even what I've mentioned, but definitely, if you just if you just play Selvaria, of course you're not going to have any fun if you just play her. So you have to hold yourself back, experiment, do crazy shit. Go crazy, go stupid.
You wacky boys. The
Hell
wacky,
yeah.
wild World War II.
Mm-hmm.
World War II, H anime, game.
Yeah. H. Like hentai?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's all I got, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I spoke my piece on the topic. I think I said a lot of the stuff that was on my mind, and we just talked about so many silly instances. Like that seems like what almost this whole podcast was, just like silly instances from Valkyria that we got to
silly
experience.
instances from
It's a silly, funny
game.
World War II game.
Silly World War II
A
moments.
funny war.
Real quick though, before we wrap it up, favorite just random soldier. Go. Favorite random soldier.
Viola.
Viola.
Paladin.
Okay. Vancy. Excellent. Okay. With that, I guess my final thoughts are.
You okay?
I'm just thinking. I don't have any final thoughts. Just someone else go. Kiowa, you already kind of summarized your thoughts, huh?
Yeah. I can add a little bit. Yeah, Valkyria Chronicles is a game that keeps you guessing. It's just a rip roaring good time. You're gonna be on for a wild ride the second you set foot into World War II, Valkyria anime world.
Anime world.
It's war, it's anime, it's Valkyries. What more can I say? You know exactly what you're signing up for. You signed a waiver.
Mind Mush Material.
You signed a waiver.
Mind Mush Material.
You sign a waiver when you buy Valkyria Chronicles 4.
That's so true.
A waiver to be a soldier.
A waiver to just have your mind become soup. Mushy soup.
Oh, that's so good.
Still thinking.
Yeah, you go ahead. I'll be succinct.
Okay. I probably had my heart on my sleeve for this episode. VC4, I won't lie, I think it's near perfect for me.
Whoa.
This is a like a 4.5 out of 5 type of game for me. The story, it's not great, but it really doesn't hold it that far back for me because I didn't really care to begin with. So, I kept playing even after the game ended. I just had fun doing the missions, even when there's no reward. It just felt good. If there was map creation or something like that, I think it could go a long way. The creativity in this game, you can't really find it anywhere else. So I do hope in the next game they just add more. Let us play with more random squad members. De-incentivize the main cast, especially when they're especially when they're Riley.
That's the saddest part. Imagine even if there was multiplayer. Like if there was some way you could put your soldiers up against someone else's soldier combo.
PvP, yeah,
PvP stuff.
Oh, what? That actually sounds cool as fuck.
That's one of the things,
well.
The AI doesn't try to win. The AI just resists you most of the time.
Yeah. That's so true. Yeah. When does the AI make bold moves to come and capture your base?
Almost never.
They send one weak scout to die
They don't try to
shock trooper.
They walk into meat grinders. They don't try to pick up your fallen comrades to kill them. They do everything in their power to give you an easy war. They want to lose.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad war. It was only, 10 million casualties, so...
Only 10 million people died. That's not a lot. Get over it.
And guess 10 million people, and how many you knew? 3.
Yep.
You only knew 3 of 3 deaths.
And you chose one of them, so you were okay with it.
Yeah.
You chose 2 of them.
I guess 2, technically.
If you're Claude, you chose 2 of them.
Yeah.
How about you, Jade?
I guess pretty middle of the road game for me. I had a decent time sometimes playing it. Other times it was kind of like, mind turned off. Just experience. I don't even know. Some of the battles are really cool and challenging, and I had a lot of fun with those. But just a lot of it just overall, just middle of the ground kind of game for me, I guess. Yeah. Wasn't good, wasn't great, I should say. Wasn't terrible, it was good. It was a good game. Okay, how about this? Value, I got it on sale for like $15-$16. Well worth that price. Well worth it. More like I'd pay even $20 for this game.
Wow.
Yeah.
In terms of value.
So yeah, I mean,
you heard it here first.
I think it was worth a play for sure. And I really do. I want it to be better. I want it to be better. I want them to keep adding cool. I hope they do make more games because I do like this series and I think it's extremely unique. Nothing else so like unique. It. And I really do hope to see more Valkyria Chronicles games. I hope they double down on that story and all the different variety of missions and ways to tackle things. Like they just got to keep working on that. And
Absolutely.
It could be a real great game someday. But for now, it's kind of like a Mind Mush game for me. I think that's it.
That's it for me.
I don't know. I'm not going to announce another game. Hey, guys, that was about the end of the episode. I don't remember what game we're doing next. I don't know the kind of order we're going in or how we're releasing episodes. Yeah, I guess, okay, the next pick... Okay. What? Okay, let's start over. Oh, that was a great episode. Wow.
Wow, what a good episode, guys.
Wow, what a great episode. Hey, what's the next game going to be? Cole, Cole, do you remember who was picking it?
I don't remember, so I picked a game for you guys instead.
Okay.
I picked a kind of a cool game. I don't really know a lot about it other than it's supposed to be really good. And it's called Outer Wilds.
Oh, that's the one made by the guys that did the Obsidian games.
No, that's Outer Worlds, you big dingus. We're talking Outer Wilds.
What is this game? Some kind of space game?
This is kind of like a space game. I think there's some puzzles, intrigue, mystery to it. It's kind of all I know about it. So have fun.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to Outer Wilds. Yeah. I think it looks cool. I don't know much about it either, but I'm excited to see what it's all about.
Same. I don't know a whole lot about it myself, but I've just heard only good things about it.
It's gonna
never
be fun.
Bad.
It's gonna be a good one. I'm excited to start it up. Anyway, Cole, excellent choice for the future game. Excellent choice. Also, pretty good work on beating me in the debate. I hope maybe next time I'll get you. Maybe next time I'll get a good game, like not a mush game going. We could get some good shit going on. We finally play some good games.
It's a good thing I get to pick every game.
We can finally get some good games going on this podcast once I. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for listening. We love you so much. Thank you. Goodbye. Good night. Have a good night. Have a happy midnight. See ya.
Happy midnight.